Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheen Ajume, but we have somebody on here that is very, very, very important. This is my baby girl. This is my baby girl all the way out of. I'm going to let her tell you where you're from. Mary, good morning, baby. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I am doing amazing. Good to have you. You know, this is Way Out Wednesday, so I'm gonna come right out the gate, Mary. What's on your heart? What you want to talk about today?
Let me think about that right there.
Way Out Wednesday. Oh, and the phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. TC, I see you over there, TC. TC, she likes a lot of the stuff that we do, a lot of the conversations. But I want to get TC to call in. Today is what we call TC is called Way Out Wednesday. So whatever you want to talk about, whatever's on your heart, whatever topic you want to talk about, we don't have a topic on Wednesdays. We open up the topics for everybody to call in, and we open up for people that have when they have situations they want to talk about. And I have one right here. I have one that we're gonna talk about later on today. It's a doozy too. It's a doozy. So I want to make sure y'all stay tuned to this situation that's going on. A young fella out of Tyler, Texas. Now I don't even know where Tyler, Texas is, but it's a fella out of Tyler, Texas. He wrote something to us, and he wants us to help us with this situation that he's in. I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna make you drop your head, might even make you cry, might make you do some kind I don't know what it's gonna do to a lot of people, but this situation that he sent in to me is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I didn't see he hit me like an 18 wheeler came down the street and hit me, man. I didn't see it coming. But I want you all to stay locked in, share the broadcast with somebody, share the broadcast, share the broadcast, share the broadcast, because I want everybody to come together and talk about this and say what they think about this situation that this young man has shared with me today. But so TC 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Definitely will love your input today as well. Now, Mary, talk to me, Mary. What's on your heart? What you want to talk about today?
Still thinking on that. I'm trying to get something real deep
Mm-hmm.
so we can talk about. Oh, I got one. I got one.
Oh Lord, and oh Lord, should I be scared? Should I be scared? But go ahead, Mary, drop it on me.
How do you correct a grown child without drawing them away?
Very carefully. Very careful. And truth of the matter, that depends on the relationship that you have with that child. Because if you come at a certain if you come a certain way at that particular child, you're gonna push them away. You're gonna push them away, and they're not gonna want to hear what you're saying at all. None of it. But if you have a relationship with that child, you have a good relationship with that child, and you could go to him, you could sit down and your approach. Bill Cosby did something a couple of years ago on one of his shows, and I'm gonna give you the quick version. When Vanessa was dating Dagmas, and she brought him home out of the blue, out of nowhere. She just brought him home and introduced him to the family. They didn't know nothing about him. Come find out, they had been dating 6 months. His family knew, but Vanessa, Heathcliff, and Claire did not know anything about it, nor did any of the children. Heathcliff told Dadmus this. He was talking to Dadmus. He said, "Listen," he said, "It's your presentation, how you was presented to us." He said, "What's your favorite meal?" And Dadmus said, "Man, I like a good old steak. You know, I like a good steak." And he said, "Good, good." He said, "Well, what do you want? How do you want your steak cooked?" And he described how he wanted the cake, the steak cooked. He said, "What do you want with it?" He said, "I want some a baked potato with them little sour cream and them little chives and stuff on top of it." He said, "Yeah, that's good." He said, "That's good." He said, "That's good." Now, what else do you want with it? He said, "I want some of them little round early peas." He said, "Okay." He said, "That's a perfect meal for." He said, "Yeah, that was." He was like, "Yeah, that's a perfect meal." He's gonna say, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna get you your steak, your baked potato, and your early peas, and I'm gonna go get the trash can lid. I'm gonna turn the trash can lid over and put your food on the trash can lid, and I'm gonna bring it to you." They were like, "Wait a minute, no, no, no." He said, "That's the presentation." He said, "That's how you was presented to us on a trash can lid." He said, "I don't care whether you could have been a banker, you could have been a millionaire, or whatever you could have been. It didn't matter. The presentation was not right." So I said tell you that long drawn out story because I know you be like, Daddy, you talking too long. But listen, I tell you that story just to get to the point right now. What I can say to you is based on a presentation. If you go to that child and the child know that you love them, regardless of how old that child is, if that child know that you love them and that you have their best interest at heart, they will receive you better. But still, you can't go there pointing your finger, chastised. I told you, blah blah. No, be a little more loving in your presentation. Present it with love, and I hope that it will be received also in love. Did I answer your question?
Indeed, you did.
Good, good. Now, if anybody else want to comment on that particular question, give us a call 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Anything else on your heart, Mary? Excuse me.
Hmm.
You got the floor right now.
Do you think? If, because a lot of people are saying this now. I don't know if you follow social media of the old youth out there,
Mm.
but a lot of people are really getting into polygamy right now. And what are your thoughts on that?
Mm. Wow. I
I
honestly
know, I know some women.
go ahead.
What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
I know, I know some men believe, or some women. I've seen more say that a man shouldn't be with one woman because if he's a king, then he should have multiple women, and women should be fine with that. That's why there are more women than men in the world. But they believe that you should have like a village in your relationship, not a village outside. As most, like in the olden days, village was the mom, the dad, the aunties, the family, friends, that was the village. But now people are believing that a village is me, my husband, and his girlfriend and his girlfriend.
Mm-mm. I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna go biblical when I answer this particular question, and I'm gonna ask you this. Um, in the beginning, they say that God made Adam, and he saw that when he made Adam, Adam was good, and Adam walked around and he had dominion over all the animals. He walked around with all the animals, and every other animal had a mate. Everybody else had something, a companion, if you will. All the other animals. Only one that didn't have a companion was Adam. How many people did God make for Adam?
One.
There's your answer. And my thing is this,
No,
right?
I know what the biblical answer is. I understand how do you feel about it?
No,
Because there's a lot of people
mm-hmm, that feel a
there's a lot
certain
of
way.
people doing that.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
and yeah, and people, people do what they want to do, and that's part of the problem why we're in the situation that we're in right now in this world that we live in, because people do what they want to do, be it right or wrong. If they feel like they want to do it, and they're big and bad enough to do so, that's what they're going to do. That don't necessarily mean that it's right. And you say that you spoke about a king earlier. Now, if a king is going to be a king, then he have to also understand that he must have a queen. Or he should have a queen, and it didn't say queens, but he should be able to treat her with the love, honor, and respect that she as a queen deserves, and that being given all of his love to her, and vice versa. You walking around here trying to split this and split that and split it. I don't agree with that. I think that if you are a king, then you should understand that your queen certainly deserves the same amount of love, honor, and respect that you put yourself on that pedestal. Put her right, if you on a pedestal, put her right there beside you on that same pedestal, and you two rule together. And that was the other side of the answer. I don't like that. Like I said, me and your mother been married now for 26 years. We celebrated 26 years a few days ago, almost a week ago, and I don't want anybody else in that part of our relationship. That's something that she and I share together, solo. She and I solo. When I say solo, I mean she and I together is what I mean. So no, I don't agree with it. But like I said, you got all kind of people in the world that all kind of ideologies, and sometimes people think a little more high of themselves than what they really should, thinking that they should have two, three, four, five different women. Man, it's hard for me to deal with one. It's hard for me, and so my thing is, because if I'm going to give her everything that she rightfully deserves, then I need to do it with just that one. I don't need two or three. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Man, what we done got off to on this wild and out?
Hey, I see. Look, Ibrahim he didn't call in yesterday. I can't remember whether they called in Monday or not. But I said Ibrahim. I said Ibrahim gonna call in on Wednesday. Ibrahim loved them way out Wednesday, boy. Ibrahim he loved them way out Wednesday. This Ibrahim day right here. This is the day he loved. I'm gonna tell you something. Way out Wednesdays, I knew. Look, if I ain't see him Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna see him Wednesday. If I'm gonna see him on Wednesday. Yes, sir. But Ibrahim, huh?
I ain't been feeling that great for the last week, so I guess Monday and Tuesday was kind of like worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you feeling better, brother?
Yeah, I'm feeling better today. I was just alhamdulillah, all praise be to God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Ibrahim, my daughter asked a question about a man having two or three different women, and how do I feel about that? My answer to her is, when God created Adam and he saw everything that was surrounding him, he saw that Adam was lonely. God made Adam a helpmeet, a helper, if you will. He only made one. He made one. He made Eve. And so that was my answer right there, that, in that instance, God made only one. But some people think that, and everybody think how they want to think. People are going to live the way they want to live their life because it's their life. You can't tell them how to live their life. But my thing is this right here, me, and I can only speak for myself. Me and my wife been married 26 years. We just made 26 years a few days ago, last week, Thursday. And I don't want anybody else in our relationship in that way. But like I say, Ibrahim, you might want about 4 or 5 wives. So how do you feel about that, sir?
Well, when it comes to like relationships, wives, I'm not good at it. I'm stuck around with the first one for over 18 years, and I'm with one I'm with you now. We're going about the same amount of time. You know what I mean? I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be the one to. I'm not good at one. You know what I mean? And so I don't know.
That's good.
But in the same respect, Adam had a wife, a previous Eve, Lilith. You remember? It's in the Bible. You read up. Lilith was his first wife, and then I think sometimes we confuse a culture, how many cultures there were at the time. Adam was supposed to be the mind, and he was supposed to be representative of the womb of the mind. You know what I mean? But anyway, we want to go scientifically or religion, philosophy, some of the words from the past. Start off with one. First was a woman. Maybe she was both. And
you saying she was like a hermaphrodite?
Well, I don't know, but they trace every woman to the first woman. You know what I mean? Everybody in the world traced to the first woman. So, what's first, chicken or the egg?
Well, if it traces to the first woman, maybe because she drove him so crazy, drove him out of his mind, and he just wants someone to hit. Hey, hey, this is way out Wednesday, brother. This is way out Wednesday.
I got you. But me, I'm basic guy, man. I don't want a queen. I don't want, if a woman thinks she's a queen, I ain't got no time for her. I don't need her. Just a waste of money. Just frustrating to me.
Ibrahim,
but a woman, I just want a woman.
Ibrahim, let me say something to you, and I like to deal with both sides going. I know what you meant when you said that. I know, and so I know exactly what you meant when you said it. But I'm for my listeners. I gotta ask a question for my listeners. You say you don't want a queen. Are you in a roundabout way saying that you don't want a woman with too high self-esteem?
Well, it ain't necessarily self-esteem. Too selfish. One way. A queen is served. I don't have any queen where I can serve the queen. I don't have time with my relationship with God or with my family or anybody else. I don't have that relationship with them. All I have all I have is this relationship, that I have with my creator. Now, the woman is a mate for me, and I'm a mate for the woman. You know what I mean?
Ibrahim, explain something. Explain something to me, brother. And you don't have to go. You go deep as you want to, or if you say you don't want to answer the question, you ain't got to answer the question. But when you say that you're not good at that in a relationship, but you've been married, a woman, you accepted a woman's hand, or she gave you her hand. Two women you've been married to, I think you said twice, and both of them lasted X amount of years. So, brother, it don't sound like you're real terrible at it either. Now, but you say you're not good at it. What does that mean?
Well, that's discontent on my side, because God put things in your path. You know what I mean? Maybe it's discontent on my side of that what I always wanted, but what I thought I wanted. But sometimes you have to be accepting of what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
And I'm not miserable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not miserable, and this is my life. Here I am. At this age, what I'm gonna do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have to answer that question.
I saw that. But look, let me hold on 1 second, brother. Let me go. We got another caller. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just glad to see another beautiful day, man.
Yes, sir. Sound like you're a little stuffed up this morning, brother. The air conditioner got you last night or something?
No, I'm good on that end, man. I came down here, man, and I didn't come prepared to stay. I was prepared to leave yesterday, and I didn't take none of my medications yesterday. I ain't got it this morning, so I'm sort of feeling the difference, like in my blood pressure, and the stress that I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with. I don't know. The unexpected, I guess.
Yeah,
so, I might be sounding a little different because I'm out of whack a little bit. I ain't with walking, I exercising, and then I gotta go buy some clothes.
Okay.
So, that might be it. I might just be in one of those moods where I'm just, sort of got my mind in a different place this morning because I ain't in my normal routine.
Got you. Okay. Well, then, like I said, man, like I tell you, brother, if you need me, just give me a call. I'm right here, man. Whatever you need, if I can do it, I'm definitely gonna take care of that for you. This is Way Out Wednesday, brother. What's on your heart this morning? What you want to talk about?
I don't know. What were y'all talking about just then, man?
Well, Mary asked a question. Actually, asked me two questions, but we're on the second one right now about a king and having two or three different women, two or three different wives, and different things of that nature. And I told her, and Ibrahim said the same thing. It's hard for me to deal with one, man. And so everybody live their life the way they live their life and deal with it the way that they want to deal with it. But I need just one, man. Me and my wife, like I said, we've been married 26 years, man, and I can't see, and nor have I ever wanted anybody else in our relationship like that. And so one woman is enough for me. One woman is enough to drive me crazy, man, if I ain't careful. And so fella saying he want 2 or 3 different, 4 or 5 different wives, man, or girlfriends or something like that, man, that never made sense to me. What do you say to that, though, Rico? Everybody feel differently.
Well, that might be the way things are supposed to go. You asked a question last night, man, and I was like, man, we might not be the most damaged, but we might be the most manipulated because of the culture that we adapted to. We are completely out of our culture.
Yeah.
And so with us adapting to somebody else's culture and then how it always evolves, you got to think about the culture we adapted. At one point in time, they didn't want their women to just have any kind of rights. They treated their women totally different. Their women had to start movements like, suffrage and women's voters' right. They had to start a lot of movements to fight their husbands and, to gain some type of respect, just common respect and equal rights. And that may not have been our culture, but in that culture, you got to understand that a woman will think a certain way. So now marrying those type of women these days might not be, I'm gonna say, it might not line up with having more than one wife. But man, I mean, compared to what you look at today as a modern woman, that modern woman has become a modern wife. But could you imagine her sharing a man with 5 different women? I couldn't see that happen.
No,
but it would take a special mindset. Now, maybe men would be different if they had women that thought like that could actually fit into that scenario, because I really could see a male in a chauvinistic way saying that, well, you know what, man, each one of my wives got different personalities. So when I can't deal with one, I go to the one that I deal with the best. Those are options. But what about those women? They don't have different male options
Exactly.
Personalities to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's exactly right, but if that was a culture for somebody, I feel like it would have to succeed. Only because the woman's mindset is totally different than today's woman in this modern time.
Well, and you said something right there, Rico, that kind of sparked something in me as well, because a lot of times we as men, we talk about the child support system, and a lot of systems are set up geared toward the women. But in this instance right here, that's something that system is pretty much set up for the man, because a lot of time the argument is, a lot of people that feel this way, their argument is, well, it's more women than there is men. And so to make sure that every woman have somebody, you have to have the man got to have 3 or 4 different women in order to accommodate all the women that's out there. But my thing is, how is that helping? How, and Miriam, ask you this question: how is that helping the woman when she has to share her man with 2 or 3 different women? How is that helping her? She only got a piece now. Instead of having no man, she only have a piece of a man. Is that good?
Well, when you hungry, you rather have a piece of the whole thing. I mean, you got to settle for what you get if you lower your standards.
Mm-hmm. If you lower your standards, okay.
If you lower your standards,
mm-hmm.
then some people rather have a piece of pie than the whole pie.
Because
if you have the whole pie, now you got to eat the whole thing. You got to throw away the package. So some people don't want to put all the work in that it takes. But if I was a person that's like, oh yeah, I would imagine there would be like, as the man, as Rico said, the man would do, probably the female does too. I don't know. I just know a few of my friends have now gone polygamous, and when they tired of one man, they go to the other one.
Wow.
So I think it'll be the same thing. Like if I get tired of you because I feel like you only give me half your energy, then I'll just go to the next.
Mm-hmm. We got a thing, and we're going to go to Badger, but we got a comment here. Somebody said on one of the Facebook listeners said, some women like it that way. Y'all men are, oh Lord, y'all men are annoying, a lot to deal with, and a lot to deal with too. So because and hold on now. Oh Lord, I see who that is. We are annoying and a lot to deal with. Okay. Y'all annoying too now. Women could be very annoying too. And y'all don't stop and stop. Y'all going right past the red light. Light be red and stop. It's time to stop it.
Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait, man, because they're going to have you in arms with your wife and your daughter later on, man. They putting us in the group together. You retaliate. Don't take the bait. Let her have it.
Don't do it.
Have it.
Yeah, okay. Badger, talk to me, Badger. What's on your heart, brother?
Man. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
It's another blessed day I get to enjoy with everybody.
Should a man have 4 or 5 different women?
Man, if God wants it that way, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
If He doesn't, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, if you look in history, when women greatly outnumbered men, a lot of times that's what that was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think that in this day and age that women are starting to outnumber men. I don't know how true those numbers are. So once again, it's going to boil down to perception, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's more women than men, doesn't every woman deserve to have a husband or a chance to have a child?
No. And no. And the reason why I say that, because I'm looking at this thing holistically, and not every woman should be a mother. Don't have motherly instincts, and don't have and don't know how to treat.
Gonna go there.
You asked me a question, brother. You asked me a question, but not and I'm answering the question my way. Not every woman is motherly material. Not every
And not every man is father material.
That you asked me about the women. You didn't ask me about the men. You asked me about the women. You asked me your question to me specifically was, don't every woman deserve to have a baby and be blah blah blah. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And so in answering that question that you asked me, I say no, because not every woman is motherly. But go ahead.
Oh boy, we're on a roll this morning apparently.
Way out Wednesday, brother.
Oh, I need more coffee. And to me, it's going to boil down to biology and all kinds of things. And I won't disagree, but there's it's both sides. There are men that should not have children and women who should not have children, and that's always going to happen. But the ones that are going to be good mothers, you know, if there's one man to every 2-3 women, there's an issue.
Okay. So basically in a roundabout way, and I'm gonna go to Ibrahim with this. Basically in a roundabout way, Ibrahim, we're saying without actually outright saying that cheating is okay, because that's what you're doing. If you're with somebody and then you go jump with somebody else, basically you're cheating. So we're saying, Ibrahim, it's okay. It's not a bad thing, because the numbers are so
well. Poor. You know, I mentioned a couple of times about culture, right? And then I want you to tell me the point in time when the Bible, even the Christian Bible, said it was all right to a man should just have one woman, or no woman at all, for that matter. Now, it makes sense that in society it's always been more women than men.
Yes.
And we look at the lessons of nature. You know, usually there's a primary, you know, a male that women or other species, they're attracted to this particular male, and that is to procreate. That's one reason to procreate, and one is protection and safety. Now we're in a society now where we're more centered on ourselves than the entire community, right?
Okay.
So we want what we want. That don't mean it's right or wrong either split, but we want what we want. And when it comes to women, in some respects, are different from men, because every DNA, and you can take me scientifically, every DNA, every man she ever had, he leaves her DNA with her. Now you can check it. You check it scientifically. We're not talking about religion right now. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
It's different from men. But in one sense, I think it makes sense, because you have less chance for maybe a homeless woman and homeless children. You have a chance that there will be a family. For every child, there's a family. For every woman, there's a husband. You know, like you don't need a husband. You know, I can see you don't need a husband all the time. You know what I mean? I can see I don't need a wife all the time. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just want your peace and privacy. But however, it makes sense in perspective. Now, in this culture that we in, it's impossible to do that. For every other culture you can go to Europe and abroad and everywhere else, a woman from those cultures could go into a culture like that and survive and live well.
Man, the murder rate.
The American woman goes to a culture like that. You know it's coming at
you. The murder, yeah. The murder rate gonna be crazy, man. The murder rate gonna be off the charts.
I know the first time you heard it, but when a woman from America going to these different cultures, right? They can't handle it. Yeah. They can't handle it. They don't want to handle it, and they, or whatever, and they don't see no reason in it. Now I don't expect. Now I got daughters too, right? I would hate, I wouldn't be happy if my daughter had a husband that had more than one wife. But the same reason I with one husband.
Well, hold on. Stay right there for a second. You say you would not like that, but you say, but in the same sentence, you said that it could be a good thing. So if it could be a good thing, why would you not want that for your daughter?
Because we want what we want for our daughter. I want the best for her. I want to have the best chance at any opportunity she can have. I don't want if it's just one man. I want a man to impress her. The first thing she could tell me that my husband said this, my husband said that, right? I said, well, what do you think? You know what I mean? And I trust me, I've heard this. And and she's dynamic, dull, but you don't have to be I don't know. You don't have to be so neutered.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's society neutering you. That's not your mate, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It should be room for her to go out and do those things she needs to do and take care of family.
Okay.
I want one of my children to bring me some grandchildren before she get too much older. She runs, biologically. That's getting less and less, easy for her to do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But at the same time, I want her to still keep pushing and do what she do.
Okay.
I want to be with her husband. If her husband's good to her, and he got room for her, that's good. But I don't want her. But at the same time, I don't want her to just think she can run wild over somebody. Yeah, we had a conversation about that a long time ago about another guy I was championing to be her husband.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is what it is. But like, yeah, I believe in that culture. I believe that culture can exist and it has existed forever, and maybe it still exists.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. And Rico, hold on for 1 second, Ibrahim. Let me ask this question, and Rico, I'm gonna pose this question to you, brother. And Mary, I'm coming to you after Rico. I want you to give me your intake on it as well. But if we're saying that it's okay, and y'all know how I do. I like to deal with both sides of the coin. That's just what I like to do. So if we're saying that it's okay for this man to have 2 or 3 different wives because of the numbers, and I know why y'all saying it, because of the numbers, is it also okay for a woman if she want to have 2 or 3 different husbands? Or does society that we're talking about right now, would you look differently upon her if she had 2 or 3 different husbands than you do if a man have 2 or 3 different wives? Is there a double standard tied into this thing, Rico?
Not necessarily. There's quite a few things that tied into.
But Rico, let me throw this out there. Rico, I don't mean to cut y'all, brother. Let me say this to you. A lot of times, now you know how society do. If a man got, he's a stud, man, he's this, he's that. But if a woman got 2 or 3 different boyfriends, they have a totally different name for her. She's labeled something. She nasty. Yeah.
She nasty. Yeah, she is nasty. See, that's what I'm fixing to get to. There's certain things that makes it more acceptable for men to do it than women. You know what I'm saying? First off, you have culture and conditions. You have a situation where you have alpha males, beta males, and in that system of hierarchy, men compete for resources. So the men with the most resources that can provide the most are going to get the most, to have the best options of women, best choices. So now that leaves the women to try to vie for the attention of that most qualified man, whether it's based on economics, or even if it's just based on swag. Man, women got some very particular standards and qualifications for a man. They'll make you wonder why some of these good men ain't got women. Because they pick them for all kind of crazy reasons, and a lot of more women pick them for the same reason. And they're willing to share them for that reason. So, you have the misunderstanding that it's 2 to 1. Now, maybe it's 16 to 1 or 20 to 1 in Atlanta for certain reasons. Yeah. The down low community and this and that. But then around the United States, in 2020, the population of black women was 21.6 million, 68 million. The population of black men was 19.9 million. So that ain't a whole lot of difference. I mean, a million is a lot of people, but when you start getting into digits like that, you're like, well, it ain't 2 to 1. And it really doesn't. If you see that it is slightly more women than men, it really ain't necessary for a woman to have more than one man. But then I think about science, culture, and civilization on top of that society. If civilization was to get down to the brink of extinction, and you had maybe one woman and one man, or say maybe, you know what I'm saying, let's say 5 men and 1 woman. That woman can only get pregnant by 1 man, and she can have a baby 1 time a year. That means society is going to grow very slow, right?
Yeah.
But now if you had 1 man, he can knock down about 30 babies in a year. Oh, he could rebuild that society real quick. And that's to me, that's all the logic in the world that it takes. See, a man can build a community just from his scrotum. He got millions of them that come out every time he ejaculates. That means if your society ever came down to the brink of being extinct and you wanted to build it back up, and that man was the only one alive, he was the strongest out of the 5 that y'all had available, that one man could take all his DNA and of his strong qualities and his strong character, all his everything he was born with that makes him the alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
He could put seeds in 50 women of his DNA. The mother folk might be in trouble now. They might have to fight for some scraps. They might get a couple of them women because all 50 of them women might not be cute enough for that man. See, he got options. He ain't got to put his sperm in some of them women. So that's where the stragglers gonna come in. They gonna get the leftovers that the alpha male don't want. So he gonna get the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And them women gonna want the best of the best. So they may have to share.
But
we're trying to build a society. We're trying to build a community, and we want the community to be of the best people you can make. That means, hopefully that alpha male has the best qualities and get best character, and it ain't just because he look good.
Okay, now let me ask you this question here. This is way out Wednesday, so I got to go way out there. Does that make it any less nasty? Because you said, with the woman you said was nasty, but when a man does it, does that make it any less nasty? It's still nasty.
It depends on the purpose. If you're trying to build a community, it's logical.
Mm-hmm.
So scientifically, it's proven that we can. It's scientifically, a man can right now go around here and have 10 babies in a month by 10 different women.
Mm-hmm.
But a woman can't have but one a year.
Wait, what you bringing Nick Cannon?
Daddy is. That's terrible.
What you bringing Nick Cannon in the conversation for? What you bringing Nick Cannon in the conversation for? I'm just being silly.
See, I didn't even think about him because I know local people that did that.
Wow.
Women that shared them, knowing they were sharing, and they picked them for the wrong reason. But at the same time, you see the results. All that there's a lot of brothers and sisters around here that don't have the same mother.
Mm-hmm.
But that mother that has that child and she laid up with 9 different men, right now that child still walking around traumatized because they don't know who their dad is.
Mm-hmm. Mary, what's on your heart, Mary? Is it a double standard there, Mary? Badger, coming to you next.
I mean, there's always going to be a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Because people expect women to be, I feel like people expect women to be like the most pure thing. But there's women that like to get down and dirty. I mean, it's what it is. If he can lay up in whoever house and stay up in whoever he want to stay up in, then a woman has the right to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But I mean, there's always going to be that. Like, would you rather your son go out and sleep with multiple women, or you rather your daughter go out and sleep with multiple women? Most people will say, I'd rather my son do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the girl has to bring home the baby. The girl has to deal with all of the bacteria that she's now collected from all these people. Most people would rather their son be promiscuous than their daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always gonna be like that.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
A lot of people reference lions when it comes to these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's way out Wednesday, I'm going to go in a different direction. So we're talking about how a lot of people don't agree with a man having more than one wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's also not okay for a woman and a woman to be together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how about all these women that aren't going to be able to find a husband because they're already taken? If all the women and all the men are married and there's all these women left over, we still got to tell them what they can and can't do?
Mm-hmm. Now, if we stand along the lines of procreating and making the numbers go up, 2 women together are not going to make the numbers go up. 2 men together is not going to make the numbers go up. And so it depends on what premise we're speaking on, because if we're talking about procreating, that's not gonna work. I understand what you're saying, but that's not gonna work if we're talking about procreating.
So what happens if it happens to be the women that wouldn't be good mothers?
Regardless of how we spend it, it's not gonna make the numbers go up.
So the main focus on this topic is if it's going to be for baby making.
Yeah. I think that's where it ended up. It didn't start that way, but that's where it ended up talking about procreating and increasing the numbers. But certainly that's not how we started. And so how we started would fit what you're saying right now, but it took a turn. It took a
Okay.
certain turn.
So I guess in essence, you have
just one of the angles that were justified.
Mhm.
The building of the community. That was the angle that came out, because that was the way I said, to me it was acceptable and
Mhm.
understandable.
Mhm.
Was if you were trying to build a community. So if you that wasn't the beginning of the topic, but that was one angle that was justified.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
well, I
Exactly.
mean, if you want to look at nature, you got to look at the lions.
Mhm.
One male to how many lionesses?
Yeah. 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 That's
So
a great point.
if it's in nature that was made by God, what's not to say humans can't?
Well, if we gonna and again, I like to
That's
deal
the
with both sides
animal.
of the coin. If we gonna
So are we.
if we hold on, if we're gonna deal with that, and we're gonna just deal with, we can't just deal with the lions, because there's other animals out there
Mhm.
that do not do that. You know, you got the lovebirds. They stay with each other their whole life until they die. Then you want to see one. If you see a single a dove on a line or whatever, they say that that bird is single by himself, because the mate that he or she had died, and they don't get another mate. They live the rest of their life by themselves. And so, you know,
So
if we're gonna deal with the animal version of it, we have to deal with the whole, and not just pick it. That's what a lot of people say about the quote unquote about the Bible. They say people pick certain parts of the Bible that fit their life at that particular time, and they make their argument based on that one part, and they don't deal with the whole So we have to deal with the whole, brother.
hey, I like that. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's the case, what's not to say there might be human beings that are like a lion? They're
Well,
here for that purpose. However,
who's
like
to say there's
me,
not human beings that's like the lovebird?
that's what I was about to get to. Me and my wife
Okay.
are like the lovebirds.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Where neither one of us have any interest in any of that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
None.
That's good. That's
But at
good.
the same, on the flip side, like you were saying, can't say that there's not a human being like that out there either.
Can't say. No, you're right. You can't. You can't. If you're gonna be honest, totally honest, you can't say. Tori, you with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Like a lion.
Wow. Wow.
Right.
Like a lion.
Hear me roar. Hear me roar.
What is that?
Tucson
Yeah,
came
that
in.
was my lion. Since we comparing humans to lions, that was my lion roar.
That
Wow.
Oh, no wonder I was confused.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Tori,
That's
It
what that
sounds
was.
good though.
what we talk? Oh Lord, y'all,
Okay.
look. This is the way I win. Y'all really going way on out right now. I don't know what in the world, y'all. I have no idea where y'all going right now. I have no idea. Boy, look at here. I'm trying to adjust my head. Man, I don't know where y'all going right now. But then again, this is where y'all win. Toya, what we're talking about right now
Sound
is
effects.
exactly. What we're talking about right now, Toya, is people having more, a man having more than one. Is it okay for a man with the numbers? We're talking about the numbers and things of that nature, to have more than one wife. And I said, put this out there as well. I said, well, if it's okay for him to do it based on the numbers or whatever, is it also okay, or is there a double standard? Because if a woman go out there and want to have 2 or 3 different husbands, society look at her differently. So, Toya, what's your stance on this?
Yeah, who cares how society looks at us? Because lions do it.
Mm-hmm.
Beavers do it. Bunnies do it. Come on, man, get out of here. Stop comparing humans to lions. I hate when people do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're the supreme being. Animals don't even have a conscience. So what are we talking about? Frogs hump themselves, basically, in a nutshell, make babies. What? Stop. You gotta stop comparing humans to animals. Like, it don't make any common sense. We're more supreme than them. But of course, in the more, what we're gonna say that is in this Western civilization culture, that it's okay for a man to have multiple women, and it's not gonna be no emotions behind it. No, I disagree. I mean, so the start of history kind of, started off like that. If we look at it, if we want to look at the Bible, right, back in the day, that would be considered what we call now, because back then we started from 2 people and then broke it down. So, I mean, that's one
thing that we already done, but we've grown away from that in humanity. It's inhumane. I mean, I'm just thinking about the commandments. It says, "Do not covet your neighbor's wife."
Yeah.
It's a reason for that, because how humans feel. Humans feel a kind of way when you got to share somebody. So now, if you're a human who don't have conscious feelings, probably you never been hugged when you was little.
Wow.
Probably you was abused when you was little. Then yeah, when you grow up, it's not gonna bother you. What happens with somebody ain't gonna bother you because you're immune to that factor. You know, you don't have that factor to where if someone has sex with multiple people, it don't bother you because you just don't operate on that wavelength. But the point is that we're growing more humane here. The way we used to treat people and things that we used to do, we noticed that they probably weren't the most humane things to do. So now we're trying to grow from a civilization and understand, you know, what drives people. And 9 times out of 10, what drives people is when you start dealing with people emotionally and sexually. 9 times out of 10, people can't handle it. So, you know, I disagree. And if we're going to put it on just for the sake of population, then the woman should as well, then. Because a woman can have babies. There's more than one bloodline that needs to last. That's why they used to have them take the women and have multiple sex with them in the slave trades anyway. Multiple people have sex with them. Not just the man.
Wow.
That's what they do.
508-92. Go ahead, Toy.
No, go ahead.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. I'd like to hear your input on this. I got something that I'm about to read in a few minutes, and I really want to hear everybody's whole heart on this. We said Way Out Wednesday, we're gonna put stuff out there and people could send stuff in. Somebody send a scenario in, and I want to hear, Lord, I can't wait to hear what y'all want to say about this particular scenario. Crazy. It's crazy. Tucson, good morning, sir. What's on your heart, man? Talk to me.
Well, I just wondered, I caught part of what was said. Don't know the topic, but I just wanted to know how we got there. And I didn't get everything that was said. I just came in on the sound effects.
Well,
so anyway, I'm gonna try to be. I've been trying the last 3 days to be serious and stop joking around because we've been having some serious subjects that need attention. So everything's supposed to be done decent and in order.
Yes, sir.
There's a time for everything. Sometimes, as happy and humorous as I can be, I think that this is not the time to try to be funny.
Got you. So, where we got there, Mary, this is where I went. So I asked Mary what was on the heart, what you want to talk about. And Mary, tell him what's the question that you asked. Do you remember?
I was just asking how do people feel about the fact that a lot of young people now are more accepting to the polygamous way of life. A lot of people, I know a lot of my friends have gone polygamous now, and a lot of people on social media also saying to be polygamous because like there's a girl running in I think it's Norfolk University, I want to say. She's running to be like a student council member for their college, I guess they're called, and that's her thing. Her movement is being polygamous. That's all over her posters and everything. So I just want to know how everyone felt about the polygamy or the polygamous lifestyle. Can I get that out?
Yeah, it was a struggle, but you handled it. You handled it. And before I go back to Tucson, I want to say good morning to I hope I said the name right. Verbrilli. He's saying good morning from Sweden. So we have people actually listening to us in Sweden this morning as well. So Verbrilli, I hope I said your name. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Good morning to you. Good morning. Tucson, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so we're the only ones on the face of the earth, including birds and fish, trees, that are made in the image and in the likeness of God. Okay? And we are we have dominion, and everything that we do has the capable is we're capable of destroying this whole world by our actions. It's been done over and over and over again, and we get to a point. Tell me when I'll go wrong now, because I don't have to be right. Mankind gets to a point that the heavens, let me say it like that, has to come down for our wickedness. I'm not trying to call this wicked. Make that clear.
Okay.
But we have dominion, and a man should have his own wife. And if God did not, because he's the one we get our, we should be, in a sense, to be like and obedient to. If at the beginning he did not have a design for us to have multiple wives or husbands, why didn't he take all the ribs out of Adam? That's just something. That's just me saying. To make him a bunch of wives and say, you just do what you want to do. And why I'm saying that is because we try to make our own righteousness, but it don't get to the righteousness of God. And we just start doing stuff and say, okay, this is just what I want to do, and just get over it. Well, I'm good with it. If that's what you want to do. But then you have to ask yourself, would you rather please man than God? So if you think that that's okay, and you can have no repercussions from it, I'm going to sing the song, it's your thing, do what you want to do. But every action has consequences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, you know, there's a lot of wisdom said about multiple marriages that came out of religion and the Hebrew religion, early Christian religion, and also out of also Islam. And some of the reasons were pretty much for society. I think we look at things now in society sexually. You know, it's about pleasing us sexually. Our whole makeup is sexual, right? Well, that gets back to debauchery. You know, that's the only reason that you want 4 women. I want multiple men, or multiple women, man with multiple women. That's debauchery. But when you're looking, when you're looking out, when I'm coming up, if you met the first girl you ever met, and then you go say, "Mom, I want to marry her. I like this girl. I love it." You know, what's Mother Robert saying? Don't be sold on the very first one. And shop around. And you would tell your daughter to do the same thing. First guy, oh, I'm in love with her. Wait, whoa, hold up. You know, why don't you talk to some other guys? You know what I mean? You just say go out and screw other guys. You can talk to them. And now we're in a society where we call it cheating. If a guy got a girlfriend and go out and get another girl, we call that cheating. You know, I'm scratching my head on that. I don't get it. Or if a girl dating a guy, she got another guy, she cheats. But if you look at just sexually, communicable diseases. You see what I'm saying? You know, we're going to look at it sexually, but we look at it beyond sexually about doing for our society and our community. I think we make different choices, different decisions. You know, that's my thinking. I'm going to back up just like him. I'm not going to be too humorous today because it's a serious subject.
Yeah.
Even though it's not the most serious subject going on right now in the world, but it's a serious subject. It's our community.
Exactly. So basically what I'm hearing you say is, and correct me if I'm wrong, brother, is to a certain degree, people are just nasty, jumping up and down on each other.
Yeah, that's all it's for. That's the only reason you're doing it. You know, back in the day we had to make up a reason, like it's raining, so it's baby making well. You know what I mean? Well, you gonna try to make a baby or not, you know. But that was the whole thinking in the mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just doing this You're doing this for a reason. Some God gave you. He gave us this. He gave desire. Our desire just don't come from out of basement where, or an educated society. And then what guys like, that's what guys, men and women like about each other now. Most of that's societal. What about the society we're coming in 1,000 years before, right? A woman with wide hips, that used to be attracted to a male. If you wanted to have babies, that's a baby maker there. You want to have babies, it don't mean her intelligence means a lot, the thinking level and what she can do in society, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For her children, that means a lot. But, and women understand, maybe old guys like me, I'm not a few guys, but doing a certain time a month, doing her ovary, I mean, I just like see myself looking at, it's out of space, walk past and I'm like, bam. You know what I mean? And that's nature. And that's
Good
natural,
deal.
right? But no natural, I look at a skinny girl with manufactured boobs, big butt and everything, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I got,
Okay. This way out Wednesday now. You just took a turn down way out Boulevard. Hold on for a second, brother. Badger, what's on your?
What was the comment that was made?
No, he's talking about how people, the last part about how manufacturing of body parts is what he's talking about.
Man, there are things that are going on in this country or in this world, especially when trying to play God. We've seen it in plants. We're seeing them do it with certain diseases and whatnot. I mean, a really good example is GMO corn. They genetically modified it, and now science is starting to find out how sick it makes people.
You're gonna have Toya beating her head on the wall over there if you want to stop comparing people to animals and vegetables and stuff. You're gonna have Toya over there beating her head on the wall.
She can beat her head on. My perception is my perception. We're made from the same planet, made of earth and water, and we breathe air. So my perception, I don't really see a whole lot of difference because some people are probably dumber than a rock anyway. Because at least the rock knows what it is.
I ain't never talked to a rock, so I don't know whether rock can interpret what it is or not. So I never had a conversation. It would be very interesting. It would be very interesting for me to sit here and have a conversation with a rock. Boy,
it wouldn't. Then it'd probably tell you things that you wouldn't want to work on.
Wow. If it tells me anything, it would be a little different. If it tells me anything, but
it's creation creates. So to me, the reason I bring things like that up is because a lot of cultures learned from things that were around them that were put here. So learn what to eat, learn what not to eat. A lot of times it was by watching the things that were around us. So it's also going to be part of a belief system. If you believe animals can't teach you anything, that's normally associated with two specific religions. So
no one said, in all fairness, no one said the animals can't teach you anything. That wasn't what was said. I think her point was, I'll let her speak for herself. Toya, what's on your heart? Were you saying the animals can't teach you anything? Toya?
I'm sorry, did I miss something?
No. I was just asking about what you said about the animals comparison and stuff like that. I told about I was joking with Badger just now. I said if he don't stop, he gonna have you beating your head on the wall if he don't stop comparing people to animals or plants and stuff like that. And he said,
well, that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people always want to use things that we know ain't right, like we don't have no sense, common moral values, and then say, oh, well, that's what the animals used to do. But we're not animals. You understand what I'm saying? We got a theory that we either came from monkeys or apes. I just don't get that. But I'm not an animal. I'm not a lion. You know what I'm saying? So don't compare the fact that we get to make conscious decisions to an animal that cannot. Dogs hump other boy dogs. That ain't natural. They can't make babies out of that. That's just an action that they do. It's not going to make more dogs. So if it's something that you do and it doesn't make a specific outcome, that's how you know that it's unnatural. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a lot of humans do. A lot of humans use animals as the first reference. We don't even animal test no more. Why? Because they felt like animals were so close to humans that they could do things to them and see a lot of the same responses from a human. But that might be true, but we're still not animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still a step above. And I think that when humans try to justify their own needs and use an animal to replace it, I don't think that's right. Listen, you know why I was a hoe? Because I wanted to be. It ain't got nothing to do with me being molested. I can use that as an excuse, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have sex with men. And not just one. So, you know, there's no excuses. Humans got to be real with themselves. If you want to have sex with multiple people, fine. That doesn't mean that it's good. But
You also
you want to swallow that pill. And swallow that pill and everything that comes with it. Because jealousy runs deep. Jealousy runs deep. As soon as you go to have sex with somebody outside of that relationship and they don't know, other emotions fly. You know what I'm saying? So I just admire the humans that have a real honest conversation and stop trying to blame all these outside forces instead of chalking it up to us humans. We humans are fickle. We humans want to do what we want to do. And then we want to use all these things under the world except for this saying, this is what I use my dominion for, because that's what it is. You're using your dominion to do something that you know ain't the right thing. A lion still gonna be with one lioness at a time. He ain't got 17 lionesses running around, just laying around, sitting up there with him. Come on with the jokes. Like, so let's just stop trying to justify what we do, because the child molesters do it too. The rapists do it too. They but what about Julius Caesar? You ain't Julius Caesar. What do you mean, what about Julius Caesar? Oh, well, what about the Catholic boy? If you don't get up out of here, I'm finna bury you. Talking about what about all these people ain't touching kids and it ain't right. Or you raping women. Oh, well, they're just prostitutes. Boy, I'm finna murder you. What you mean they prostitutes? So that mean you got the right to rape them?
Wow.
No.
Wow. Good deal. Good. Let's we got a few people on the phone line. Hurry up, Badger. Hurry up.
There's something that needs to be cleared up. Toya, he made that comment after I was primarily talking about the genetic, like making of limbs and stuff. And I was like, they're already trying to play God by, genetically modifying GMO corn, which science is starting to find out is hurting everybody.
Okay. Good deal. We got a couple of callers. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, in the Morning Glow family.
Man, this is Way Out Wednesday. Are you ready?
Sure. What y'all got going on?
Well, we're talking about and Mary brought this to the table, talking about men having more than one wives based on the numbers and stuff like that. How do we feel about men having more than one wives? And I said, being the question asker, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. If there's a double standard, because a lot of times they say it's okay for a man to have more than one wife based on the numbers, but is it okay for a woman to have more than one husband? And they look at her differently. And I don't. There's no parallels there. But what do you think about a man, a king, like it was stated, having more than one queen?
Well, first of all, let's quit using these words incorrectly. Polygamy is about marriage. Okay?
Go ahead.
So a lot of folks don't understand polygamy. And so now this new American concept of polygamy has nothing at all to do with what polygamy really is. Men don't want more than one wife. They want to sleep with a bunch of women, but they're not taking responsibility for anything. That's the difference between a king and a dude that just want more than one thing to put his penis in. Okay?
That's right.
So let's not get it twisted. And just like there is polygamy, there's also polyandry as well, which is the opposite. So when you have these people, first of all, you want to falsify some information. Ain't enough men to go around. There's plenty of men to go around. So This whole notion that people have created this scam to get people to fornicate more is absolutely ridiculous. Because that's all it is. It's still fornication, and you just don't convince two women that they ain't worth it, so you got to have somebody else. That's what you're doing.
So it's a pimp game.
Because this form of polygamy that they're trying to introduce now is because men don't want to take responsibility for anything. They just want to sleep around and not be bothered by it. So let's not confuse polygamy with what people want to do over here.
Wow.
That's not the same thing.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to we got a couple other people just came in to the line. I want to let me see who was next on the line. Let me see here. Cassandra, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
How do you feel about polygamy? What's it? How's that fancy word they use? Polygamy, whatever.
Oh my goodness, what did you call it?
Polygamy. I call it polygamy. I call it that and
polygamy.
There you go. That's what it is. I was actually looking up when a man have 2 or 3 different wives, and I tie those 2 words together. What's it called? Bigamy when you're married to more than one person, right?
No, bigamy is actually when you
married to one person,
married to 2 different people.
Yeah.
But folks aren't really aware of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I tie those 2 together. I don't know how I did that, but anyway, how do you feel about a man having 2 or 3 different wives? A king having 2 or 3 different queens.
A king?
Well, hey, that's the verbiage that was used. Yes.
It's not a king.
Hey,
not
come
a
on.
king.
Hold on. Hold on.
Why we want to put it like that? I mean, if you're just talking cultures, African culture, okay, they believe in, a man being able to have polygamy. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A man being able to have more than one wife, and in some of the Muslim communities, if he can afford it, I think he can have, I don't know how many wives, but I know they still do that even here in the United States.
It is said 4. It is said 4.
4, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I know. I thought it was 3 or 4. Yeah. Okay. So then I just, if it's within your religion, if that's what you guys practice, that's a religion. That's what you guys do. I personally don't believe in it, and I would never be a part of a relationship where the man thought that was necessary. Biblically, we know that it was used for procreation. Men sleeping with multiple women was done when we don't need nobody procreating right now. We got plenty folk on this earth. We don't need no more of that. So if you're doing it because of your religion, and that's what your religion allows you to do within the bounds of whatever your religion is, I what can I say? That's your belief system. But as Christians, that is not what we do.
Yeah.
That is not what we do. No, absolutely not.
She said,
and I would not want
it. Exactly. Navy, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Oh Lord, I don't know. My edges are holding on this morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. What's on your heart? Hey. And I want to ask you this: is there? And I asked it earlier: is there a double standard? Because it said that a man can have 2 or 3 different wives, 2 or 3 different women, and stuff like that. But if a young lady had 2 or 3 different husbands or 2 or 3 different boyfriends, she's called a certain thing. So, is there a double standard in what we're talking about right now?
Of course. I mean, I just think society-wise, especially in the society that we live in, it will always be a double standard when it comes to that, and no, that doesn't necessarily make it right. I mean, like, even just in dating, not sleeping with multiple men. A woman will be called out of her name just for being open and honest about, hey, you're not the only person that I'm trying to get to know. I'm not sleeping with anyone. I'm not so much as I may kiss one or so, but you're not the only person that I'm having conversations with. She will still be called out of her name. So yeah, there's definitely a double standard. I mean, my brother was afforded different he had way more freedom. And I'm the oldest. He had way more freedom, you know, as we were in high school than I did. Because, you know, I got to bring the baby home. He just has to provide a resource for the baby.
Wow. Wow. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I don't really know if it's acceptable either way. If the person is putting on a perception that they are the only one they're talking to, I think it's unacceptable for a man too. I think it's more accepted if the woman says, "Look, we're just getting to know each other. We don't go together. I got other people that I talk to." At least you make it understood.
Yeah. At least you're honest with it.
So I think you know that I don't really know if it's a double standard in getting to know people, because I think men are held to the same standard. Either you being honest about getting to know other people or you're not. If you're not, then you might be held to the same standard as that lying woman. They get that same reputation. So now when you start talking about sleeping around and then people run trains on you, that's a whole different thing right there. You know what I'm saying? Yes, some women like to do that. There's a lot of women that have done it. I know some kids right now, if I was to tell them about their mama, they want to fight me.
Yeah. I remember your mama used to,
There's some good women now, though. There's some good women now, you know what I'm saying? There's some good women. Some of them done went through enough DNA tests to know, mama, you couldn't have been boyfriend and girlfriend with all of them. Now you don't forgot the last lot. You said you were going with him, and all of a sudden you were going with him. But wait a minute, how many people did you go with and break up within 2 weeks now? I done been around. I think you was doing. I think you was having a little bit too much fun, mama. But I'll accept it. Dang, mama. Yeah, it ain't no double standard, because that's who got to deal with the consequences of it. I said it earlier. There is no reason for anybody to do that. But this is what I want to say at first, man, because there's a lot of things I heard that I was like, man, this might not go over right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me and Toya, I know we're going to talk about this later, but Toya said animals don't have a conscience. I'm going to say animals aren't as intelligent or capable as we are, but they have a conscience. Elephants got a conscience. Lions got a conscience. They do have a conscience. You know, that's what elephants weep when they lose a member. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they know the structure of family, and they have concern where they try to fend off attacks from prides of lions. You see the wildebeest come back and fight them back, or the buffalo come back and fight. That's a conscience. They're trying to protect their own. They kill, and we kill too. I know people that are cannibals, people that put their babies in the oven. Imagine if aliens rolled around and looked at us, they're going to say, you know what, man, I don't think them people got a conscience. Look how they blowing up their own planet and killing each other. But we're going to say we got a conscience. See, the thing is intelligence and capabilities. We are more capable than all of those animals, but they have a conscience. So I want to just take that part out of it if I can, because animal rights activists would probably come in and get mad if we said that they didn't have a conscience. That's the reason why they want to save them. They ain't just run around here, you know what I'm saying, just loosely like fruit. Like fruit don't have a conscience, but a tree has a conscience. George Washington Carver said that. The plants have a conscience. He said he spoke.
Okay, they can't reason, Rico. Let me rephrase it. They can't reason. How about that?
Yeah, so that's why I'm just going with that, but I ain't mean to get stuck on that. Then earlier I was thinking about the polyamory, or whether polygamy that we're confusing with. You know what I'm saying? Polyamory and polygamy is two different things. But in the end, I still want to say that I think those people, they're just using a legitimate excuse to just be some freaks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're just trying to make things acceptable, like they're trying to make these massages acceptable.
Wow.
With the men grinding all over. But man, that ain't no massage. That's foreplay. Y'all recording foreplay. And trying to tell me, look at this sensual massage. Would you let your woman do that? She wouldn't be my woman if that wasn't me giving that massage. That's foreplay.
Exactly.
They're trying to change the narrative. So now they want to use this polyamory thing, and they justify it by saying, oh, we ain't being freaks. We just trying to build a community. And they use the same logic that I used earlier about the fact that a man can build a community. One man. One man could build a community on the brink of extinction if there were 20 women that wanted to help him build that community. And they could start a whole new society up very quickly. But one woman can't build that community. That's going to be a slow build. So these people, they using that as an excuse to be some freaks. I agree with what Leonard said. you know, and like I said, I know me and Toy are gonna talk about this later, so I wasn't trying to harp on that, but I just, you know, want to make sure that we understand that we are sentient beings with a different capability to actually intelligently get us off this planet when it's time for us to get us off this planet, or build a Noah's Ark to save all of this life that we need to save. Something that the other animals couldn't do.
Absolutely.
Even though they have a conscience, they don't have a capability to do the things that we can do to save all life. So we are more God-like in our thinking. We're supposed to be. We have a different gift to perform and act better than we do than to sit back and use excuses like, well, men can populate the planet. Yeah, but we don't need to. We already populated. So now the tradition of the culture is that you get a man and a woman together and y'all get married. So I'm uncomfortable with people in those situations. I look at them, I'm like, man, that's not right. But in other cultures it is. I accept the fact that I'm uncomfortable with it because I didn't grow up in that culture.
Exactly.
I grew up in a Western culture that says a man and a woman and a marriage and a family.
Good deal.
So maybe I would be comfortable if I was from that area or from that region, but I'm uncomfortable with it. But I understand why, and I have to accept the way they feel about it when they're from those regions, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Africa. I have to agree with what they agree with.
Good deal. Stay right there, Rico. We got to keep this thing moving, man. Anybody have anything else on this right here they want to say before we move on? Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm glad, because I was going to say I sure do, because excuse me, I'm chewing. If you want to use the way that they did from the very beginning to populate the earth, we were told to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Yes.
So anyway, all right. Let's see.
Lord.
Let's take Israel. Let's take Israel. So the God is trying to build a nation. So he takes this guy that says, I won't let you go till you bless me. Okay, what's your name? Your name is Jacob. I'm going to take your name and I'm going to change it to Israel. Now, this guy has 4 women that's competing with each other. Excuse me. To have babies. Look at the drama that was in the home. 4 women. Leah, her concubine, Rachel, her servant. Can you imagine what was going on? Try it. You'll see. Solomon's wives, how smart is a guy like Solomon? But this guy had 300 wives and 700 concubines. Can you imagine? And here's what the deal is, and I'm gonna shut up when I say this. He built a altar for every, and I might be wrong in saying how I'm saying, but he did, for every one of their gods. How confusing is that?
Good Lord.
How do you think that worked out for him? When at the beginning, he asked for wisdom to lead God's people, and he was blessed tremendously. But what sense would it make, Raheem, or anybody else, for you to get a bunch of women, and any way they believe, you try to please them in that and say, okay, what kind of altar you want to pray on today? I would almost think that's mass confusion.
Yes, sir. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on? I got a doozy about to come up. Y'all ready? Anybody else have anything they want to say on this? Good deal. Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read this. This is what was posed to us to an address. I guess this person wants some advice on what is going on in his life as a young man. Let me get in a position where I can read it here. Are you ready? Did not give a name. Said 27 years old, out of Tyler, Texas. Now, Badger probably know what that is. I don't even know what Tyler. I never heard no Tyler, Texas. But my mother dated my ex. I am a 27-year-old a man who was dating a 22-year-old, amazingly beautiful young lady. It was great until I found out my straight divorced mother was having affairs with her, having affairs with her too. My mother said it wasn't nothing but sex, and that I am tripping and I should get over it. Am I tripping?
Well, when I get through whipping her behind, we'll know something. I mean, that's just nasty and disgusting. It's nasty and disgusting for a mother to do that. I mean, even if she feels like she's going that way, for her to mess with her son's girlfriend, it's nasty and it's trifling. And I'm definitely not a good person to ask for that, because I'm about ready to cuss. That's nasty.
Wow.
It's just filthy. It's disgusting.
I think,
you need to get a life.
And I want to ask the last part of that. He said, is he tripping? Is he tripping?
No, he's not tripping. She tripping, and she need her behind whip. That's what she needs. I need to whip her. I'm done.
Wow. Leonard, he posed the question again. There is no name, but it's out. There you go.
I love how you exercise so much restraint. Boy, your mama ain't you understand? And that girl ain't you need to leave both of them alone.
Wow.
Filthy, and that's your mother. And I bet you that has a lot of reason why she ain't with your father no more.
Wow. Well, let's answer the question, man. He want to know because maybe it's something to him. He want to know, is he tripping? Is he tripping, Leonard?
No, you're not tripping, young man. Go find you somebody that actually wants to be with you and desires you. And be great.
Man, y'all get me fired up, man. Y'all getting me angry over here, brother. Why am I getting angry? Okay. Badger, what do you say to that, man? And where's Tyler, Texas? Is that close to you, Badger?
Ain't nothing in that.
Man, ain't that I have a lot of comments about Texas, but I'm not gonna go there.
Leonard saying nothing in Tyler, Texas. Okay.
It's not far from where I'm at, no.
Okay. Is it city, is it country, or what is it?
It's city.
Okay.
I'd probably say it's something like Gainesville, I guess.
Okay, got you. Go ahead. What's on your heart?
I think that's a wild scenario, but I've seen it out here a lot, especially in the city areas.
Is that a Texas thing?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's just, dude. Even I think that's weird. And that's rare. Wow, left him and then started dating the mother.
I told for what it's saying though, I think they was seeing each other during the same time, because he said until he found out that his straight divorced mother was having affairs with her too. And so I'm thinking that from what he's saying, I don't know, but I'm thinking from what he's saying is he found out that they were doing something while they were still together. And
apparently
the mother
said that younger woman's watched too much porn.
Wow.
Or something. I don't know. I have no logic for this one. That's weird.
Wow. Man, this is our first one, man. Y'all answer these people, man. Y'all, we can't, y'all help me.
I'm gonna agree with Leonard. He needs to go find someone that actually wants to be with him. Just straight up. And unfortunately in this society, I have a screwed up mother and I have nothing to do with her.
Wow.
So because I want to keep my kids safe. But essentially there's always someone out there for you. You just got to be patient. And if that kind of scenario happens, the one of the biggest things is don't belittle yourself.
Wow.
Don't.
Wow. Wow, that's good. That's good. Navy, talk to me. What do you say to
me?
this?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Raheem.
Yes,
but
sir.
Did I tell Toya that I really enjoyed her today?
Good deal. Good deal. Toya?
Yeah.
Toya, you there?
Yeah.
Leonard said he
I
Leonard
really enjoyed your comments, Toya.
Oh, thank you, Leonard. I enjoyed yours too. I'm right there with you. Like, yeah, that's right. What Leonard said.
Lord, I'm gonna go to the one of the council. I went to the counselor first, and she was angry, so I'm gonna go to another counselor this time. Navy, what do you say to this young 27-year-old out of Tyler, Texas? What do you say to him?
Oh Lord. I mean, I'm just gonna echo for the most part what everybody's already said. Absolutely no, you're not wrong. The only thing that I would add to that, and just because, well, it's not just a Texas thing, it definitely happens in Mississippi too, because this has been in my office more than so. Go to therapy, because what that's gonna do, then go to therapy, go talk to some, come to therapy. And the reason why I say that is because whenever you get into that next relationship, there's going to be a part of you that's going to think, is this going to happen again? Or what signs did I miss to where I didn't notice what was going on? And then you're going to project that hurt onto the next person that you're in the relationship with. But I say go to therapy, work through that, understand that it wasn't your fault, understand that there was nothing, and then again, I don't know, maybe it was something that you did wrong, but, just sticking with the topic, because there's a lot that we could get into, a lot of layers that we could peel back and assume, but, just sticking to the topic, no, your mama trash, I'm sorry, your girlfriend trash, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but come on to my office, we're going to gather you up real nice, and, put some cocoa butter over your wound.
But see, and the thing that's disturbing to me. Hold on one second, Leonard. The thing that's disturbing to me is this person is 27 years old, and he said, how old was she? She was 22.
22.
Yeah, 22. She's 22 years old, man. Do you have to live the rest of your life not bringing anybody that you date or have a relationship with around your mother? Because you now you can't trust your mother. Now you can't trust your mother. And all that's destroyed. Your mother destroyed all that, man, when she did what she did. Go ahead, Leonard.
So did that young lady.
Well, also, I wanted to mention, and Toussaint usually is very good about it. And he goes back to the word. Because when you think you're doing something new, you'll find out it ain't new. The nation that was built on these types of carrying on and principles was Sodom and Gomorrah. That's the nation that was built. And we know what happened to them because of how they lived. So if you're choosing to live just like they live, what do you think is going to happen to you?
Wow. Let me go to Toussaint. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? This is a lot. It's a lot tied into these.
Yeah. I guess that's why we're always supposed to be ready to give an answer. Waiting for my sister to come on, sure enough. But this can be devastating. Because there's nothing like a mother's love.
Yeah.
Of a child. And when the most trusted person on the planet is a mother.
Yeah.
The one that you expect to go to bat for you when everything falls apart.
Yes.
Mama. You might expect daddy to because his hormones be kicking in, and you find him doing some things. You got to watch out for uncle and all of this kind of stuff. But so this is a hard thing. But then you got to find some place within yourself to get some healing. Because
yeah, it's a lot, brother.
The word heifer comes out.
Lord Jesus. Lord.
And wait.
Lord.
Yeah. And I'm saying this, and I'm sorry, but get you some laughter, please.
She's always been outside and everything. You know, took a walk and everything. Shut up.
That's what I was really waiting for.
What in the world?
What in the world was that? Somebody.
That's her dog. She's trying to get her dog straight.
No, that's K. K with an E. I thought I was on.
Oh, that's K.
Yeah.
Oh no, you was fussing at. You was fussing at him. I heard you.
Yeah, you still. Hey, hold on. Let me go. And everybody, listen to me now. Everybody, I want you all to put your seatbelts on and strap it in real tight. Toya with a T, what's going on here?
Yes, sir. So I'm not sure if I heard what I heard right. You said a young man at 27.
Let me read. I'm gonna read it again.
Mama,
I'm gonna read it again.
What now?
Hold on, I'm gonna read the whole thing again. He said, is 27 years old out of Tyler, Texas. My mother dated my ex, and it says this here. I am a 27-year-old man who was dating a 22-year-old amazingly beautiful young lady. It was great until I found out my straight divorced mother was having affairs with her too. My mother said that it wasn't nothing but sex, and that I was tripping. Am I tripping?
Wow, baby, I'm sorry that you have to go through that you experienced that. No, you're not tripping. A mother's not supposed to do that. That's not what's supposed to happen. But what I can say is probably going to be very hard for you to not deal with your mother, because that's your mother. Not understand how that's going to be, but I just need to let you know that's abuse, my love. Now, if you need somebody, you're going to call me, because it's going to be a barrage of things you're probably going to feel. That's not right. That's not normal. That's not how life is supposed to be at all, sweetheart. But if you need a shoulder, you need anything I can help you with, you stay strong and you call me, because this is a conversation. And this is a lot that lets me believe that there's a lot of dysfunction that you've thrived in and don't even know it. Everything you do is normal, and this is a chance that we stop back and look.
Wow.
See, I love humans, but we play too much and we think stuff is a joke. And that ain't funny.
No.
That ain't funny. That ain't nothing to be amused about, laughed at. That's traumatic for somebody. Being abused by a family member. That ain't funny.
Wow.
To have somebody betray you, your parent, the person whose womb you came out of, and then you disrespect and regard the value of another human being whom I love and I cherish, I want to be with, have kids with, complete a so-called life and get away from this dysfunction, and you come over here like you some kind of damn animal and then licked her up and threw her away, talking about, oh, it's just sex. Is you crazy? That ain't natural, baby. So if you want to get away, let me know. We need to seek some counseling behind this, but if you can't, I get it, because we all ain't got counseling. I'm there, but only thing I can tell you, baby, is what pulled me out of my insanity, and that's God. And if you need help along the way, so a lot of stuff is gonna go on, you call Toya, baby.
And you know what? Truth of the matter, man. I'm sitting here, and I'm I didn't know how this was gonna go, but I'm feeling some kind of way, man. I'm really feeling for the. I don't even know who it is, man. I don't know the name. They didn't give a name, but I'm feeling for this person, man. I really am, because that's a lot. That's a lot. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, let me get some of this, man, because it ain't nothing funny about that. Now, one thing, it's complete garbage. She complete garbage. And you know what the thing is? Toya hit it on the head. Thank you, Toya. Because when I heard it, I went a lot deep. I said to myself, well, you know what? He done put up with a whole lot of mess and didn't realize it was disrespectful. And she felt comfortable enough to cross the line. Because she had already programmed him and brainwashed him to be unconditionally loyal to a whole bunch of other garbage she done did in the past that he done found to be acceptable, and found a way to let go with her justification for it. It ain't one thing fun about it. That man needs therapy. I made a post the other day. Everybody needs some type of therapy, because we think we got it good and we don't even realize we out of whack. I saw a clip the other day, man. This woman said that she was having some sex with this man, and this mama mama came in there and started sucking him off.
She said, well, what you do? She said, I went ahead and kept going and joined in. So they did it together, had a threesome with his mama. They had been doing it. Somehow this girl thought it was acceptable. First thing came to my mind is, man, what has gone on in her past that made her feel comfortable with even entertaining this and going ahead doing it, talking about it and not being shamed. I ain't no telling what else she done went through in her past from who? Probably her parents.
Wow. Wow.
So that's a sick thing, man. That's very sick. I go along with Toy with this. That man needs some therapy, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know of boys. You remember I said it earlier about the boys that done call 5 or 6 different dudes daddy,
mm-hmm.
and then none of them turn out to be dad, and then they had to sit back and remember that mama said, well, I thought he was your dad and we was boyfriend and girlfriend when we broke up. I thought he was your dad and we were boyfriend and girlfriend when we broke up. What, man, hold up. This is like 8 different dudes and you can only get pregnant. I'm a grown man now. I know you got a certain length of time, a window that you could get pregnant. And you said this was your boyfriend and now you're saying this one was your boyfriend. So you just going with somebody and breaking up with him every 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what else she done did.
Wow. Wow.
Imagine all the other things that man that put that up there about his mama sleeping with his girl. Imagine all the other nasty, low-down things that she did that a Jezebel would do that we don't know about it, that he experienced and he walked around her thinking it's normal and acceptable. Wow. I mean, that goes on in a lot of households, man. Listen, we got a lot of people sleeping with dad and mama, and they don't know they're being violated. They just know it's their secret little thing.
Mm-hmm. Let me hold on 1 second. We go. Let me keep this thing going, man, because we got quite a few people, man, and I know I'm feeling some kind of way, so I know everybody else is feeling some kind of way as well. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. And good morning. How you doing, sir? Kurt?
What?
Can't hear you.
What?
Can't hear you, Kurt. You're talking to your phone, brother.
I'm gonna stop speaking on. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. I hear you.
Man, you know what? At this point, man, you know, I don't know what to say, man. I'm gonna stop speaking on foolishness, man.
It's not foolishness, man. This dude's situation. This is his life, man. This is his life. He's dealing with this, man. This ain't foolishness. He's dealing with this. He's dealing with this, Curtis.
Right, just because it's life don't mean it ain't got to be foolish.
Mm-hmm.
This is foolishness now.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
What? Listen, it is in my opinion that the foolish will be persecuted. God is not going to be kind to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just heard the story that Bro Rico was talking about. That's foolishness, man. That's foolishness.
But you know what? As foolish as it can be, man, that's still somebody. That's some people's reality, man. And it's sad. It's sad. It is sad. I agree with you 100%. But that's some people's reality, man. This 27-year-old young man out of Tyler, Texas. That's his reality, man. His mother did that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Raheem. Until we start to let folk know that, look, this is foolish, maladaptive behavior that you do not have to exist in.
Mm-hmm.
Their reality will always remain the same.
True.
See, there comes a time when we as human beings have to take accountability for our own reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you know, they say the one thing that the devil is really jealous with humans is about, because we have God gave us a right to choose. He gave us the ability to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when you have those situations and circumstances going on and you're trying to modulate somebody through any kind of therapy or any kind of situation, anything that's maladaptive, that is one of the things that you
stand on is the fact that the person has the right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
You going through that, that's because you are making a conscious choice to continue to go through that. Now, I'm not talking about when it initially happens, or if it's abuse that happens over a course of time. But at some point, you make it up in your mind. You have to make up in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to continue to go through this? And do I want to continue to swallow in this land of pity? At some point, you have to. I had to. Toya had to. And anybody else that has gone through any level of abuse, at some point, you wake up and you recognize that my reality is not what I want reality to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I get down, bro.
Wow, good deal, good deal.
This is foolishness, man.
But I promise you, Curtis, and I can agree with what you're saying, but I promise you, it does not make him hurt. By saying that doesn't make him hurt any less. I mean, that's his mother, man. That's his mother. Mary, what's on your heart, Mary? Talk to me. Mary?
I'm sorry, I had to mute myself. Well, first, his mom's not straight, so that should be addressed. Because no one addressed it. Your mom's not straight. It is what it is. There's no way you sleeping with a woman that many times and you straight. No love, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, sometimes I feel like people only say something when they kind of at the end of their rope.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know what else to do. Am I the problem? Is she the problem? Maybe that was where he was coming from. I feel like I don't know what you did in that relationship. I'm saying that you're wrong, because anything you do, somebody has the option to stop messing with you, just like you had the option to stop messing with your mom. But what are you going to do now? Like, if we all say, okay, you tripping, cool, that's great. What is he going to do about it? So it's like, I mean, I feel like if the scenario is exactly what he said and it's a truthful thing and he didn't do anything, then yeah, your mom's wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. Your mom is, anytime that why is your mom dealing with somebody that's 20 anyway? That's weird, but okay. I don't want to deal with nobody that could be their mother. That's something else. But I mean, if that's what she's into, that's what she's into. She needs to find somebody that wasn't dealing with her son. But do I think he's tripping if it's how you say it is? No. But there's nothing I could do for him with that situation. Like, I don't know him. I can't really do anything about that situation.
Honestly speaking, I wish I did know who he was, so I can actually reach out to him and be of some kind of assistance in some kind of way, man. I don't know what I could do, but man, your heart goes out to him, though. Your heart goes out to him. But go ahead, Mary.
I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, everybody has unfavorable situations. So if that's him asking for help, then there's already been more than enough options given by everybody else. I'm not gonna repeat it, but if I feel like if it got that far, what have you sat through, and why'd you sit that long? You're grown. You said you're 27. Why are you still dealing with your mom if your mom is doing all this to you? Why do you care about her anymore? Like, if she's showing you, blood does not make you family, in my opinion. If you showing me that you don't respect me as a person, I'm grown now.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for us to deal with each other. If you seen that, okay, cool. You're not tripping. You don't need to ask that question. You don't need to ask somebody, oh, someone did me wrong. Am I wrong for feeling like they did me wrong? You feel how you, even if, let's say you made a joke and I was offended and nobody else thought I should have been offended. I don't care, because I was offended. It's my feelings that was involved. I was offended. If you were not offended by what your mama did, don't ask nobody else what they feel about it. If you were, deal with that. You don't need our opinion. But if you came for a cry for help, now you know your resources. But I don't know the full story. I don't know what happened before that. Maybe he was dealing with her after the mama was dealing with her. We don't know. We don't know the full that conversation of what happened.
Yeah, but from the verbiage that I have here, it don't appear to be. I can't say one way or another, but it don't appear to be that way. Let me go to K with an E. K with E. What's on your heart, sis? What is this? What does this whole thing say to you?
I think
the mother, the girlfriend. I mean, the mother couldn't have done it. She didn't make the girlfriend do it. So it had to be something that the girlfriend wanted to do, and it had to be something that both of them seen in each other, and they did it. So he was the one that was misled. By her as well. The girlfriend was wrong too. He definitely needs to go seek counseling because he has two women that has wronged him, not one, two.
Wow.
The one he thought he was in love with and his mother that he thought loved him unconditionally.
Wow.
So not one, he has two. That he literally he has to deal with that. Like, what made my girlfriend do that and not come tell me, you know, your mama hit on me? Because that's what a normal relationship, she would have done that. A normal woman would have done that. But she had an interest there, so she didn't. So she went along with it. So she's at fault. She's at fault too. And he does definitely need counseling and a whole lot of prayer. And they do too. Because who would do such a thing?
Exactly.
And that's been happening. My mother did foster care. That's been happening.
Wow.
Foster girl came here and her mama turned her out. Like, and she knew that her mama shouldn't have done the things that her mama done to her. So this is like, it's a history repeat itself. My mama would say, it's the same old soup. It's not a bowl of soup no more. They have a cup of soup now.
Wow. Wow. Cassandra, I'm coming back to you. You don't calm down a little bit. What's on your heart, sis?
No, I agree with pretty much everyone. He definitely needs to seek out counseling. I'm just disgusted by the whole thing, and I mean I hear a lot of stuff over my 30-something years. I've heard a lot of stories, and this isn't like new, but it's still disgusting me.
Yeah.
Whether it was last year I heard it or last week, you know, it's just disgusting that a parent would stoop to that low. And she wasn't straight. Because if she was straight, she wouldn't have been indulgent with the girlfriend.
Exactly.
And then she's talking about it was nothing but sex. What you mentally ill? You mentally ill. Ain't nothing wrong with your child. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You need to get therapy. Just the very thought of that, man. It just, because I know the hurt that must have caused that young man and is causing that young man, because it is a double betrayal. It is a double betrayal.
It is.
You know, so yeah, I hope he gets some counseling. You know, hopefully there's someone near him or someone he can call and start working with, because that right there, that can mess you up for life if you don't get help.
Exactly. Absolutely. Tucson, you had something on your heart, brother?
Yeah. A lot. Here's the thing, and I really, you know, I'm just a humorous guy, but I know it's not funny. Let me make that clear. But here's the thing: when we have this type of situation, we can't give our opinion or thoughts in our emotions. It ain't got nothing to do with us. It has something to do with him. And so, can you imagine it all with people you trust? So there are some times that you have to do the thing to get away from, no matter whether they're family or not. You get away from that because that's not a good environment that needs to be in. I was going to say something, but it's not about me. But sometimes it happens that you don't expect you people that's close to you to do. So here's the other thing. The girlfriend. I mean, you got to learn how to move on from that. And everything's a learning experience. I guess what the good thing about it is that your trust level,
has
kind of
wavered.
Been because now you know how to you can help yourself with the next time you get into a relationship. Don't give up on relationships because everybody's not like that. That just may have been a bad choice.
Exactly. Navy, talk to me.
I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Navy, what's on your heart?
Um, mm, I really don't have much more to add. I'm just gonna double down on what I said originally earlier. I mean, hey, it would be great if you could find out, somebody could find out who he is. I'd be more than happy to offer him some free sessions just to help him get started. I mean, I got a homie out in Tyler, so I could definitely hook him up with her to finish up therapy or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of layers to this. There's and that's for anybody. If anybody needs it, I'm more than happy and willing to offer that to anyone. But there's a lot of layers to this. And I'm going to go back to a conversation that we had maybe a few weeks ago whenever I posed the question of not what did you do, but what happened to you. Because when we look at all three, and I didn't know how technical everybody wanted to get with peeling back these layers, but it's a tragedy what happened to the young man. He absolutely needs therapy. When I look at this young woman, she's 22, so she's in that stage in her life where she's trying to explore, and I'm not making excuses or anything like that. I'm just looking at it from three individual people and wondering what happened to y'all in order for this to be okay. What happened in your life to where you found that it was acceptable for you to betray your boyfriend if there's no other things that's going on, and if what he is saying is 100% true, then what happened in your life to where you felt like that was acceptable for you to sleep with someone's mom? And as a mother, the first of most boys' first love, you know, what happened to you? What was going on with you to where you felt like that was cool to betray your son? What was that relationship like? Initially, whenever you read it out, I thought about like the Oedipus complex, which is where little boys, you know, tend to have crushes on their moms. Now, for some little boys, they don't grow out of that. And whenever you see this kind of like relationship between a mom and a son, like it goes beyond like just normal affection. It's just like, okay, something in milk ain't clean with that. Like, I don't think that some little boys grow out of that. And I don't know, there could be a little bit of the Oedipus complex going on. The reason why somebody asked a question as to why oh crap, I can't remember exactly how they worded the question, but you know, what, like, why was he comfortable with sitting with it that long? Because if you don't know that what you are dealing with is abnormal until somebody else brings it to you, that letter could have been his way of reaching out and asking for help. So I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Can I come behind her, man? Because if we don't have enough time, we ain't gonna be able to go in this direction, because she hit on something that I was gonna go in the direction. I sort of hit on that a second ago about all the other dysfunctional things that went on that he didn't even realize was dysfunctional, but he just had to accept it out of the condition, the fact that she took care of him, or for whatever reason, it's just abnormal acceptance of something that you think is normal. Now he got to go back and have some deep therapy. So now everybody's saying he needs counseling, but just like with counseling and social workers, when you open up and end 8 hours later and you off the job, what happens with the counseling and the therapy and the social work that needs to be done for the other 16 hours? See, because what's going to happen is that this man may get some counseling for 1 or 2 hours a day, but it ain't just confronting or combating this situation, because he needs a lot of deep therapy that goes way back to confront what he's going to face in the future, but also the dysfunction in the past that he don't even realize made him who he is. He still may go into this world with a lot of things that he accepts as normal that may be abnormal because he ain't getting enough therapy. See, to me, I'm going to be honest with you. Therapy is great, and I don't mean to knock our counselors, but I'm seeing not just from going to therapy myself, that, man, the best therapy you would probably be able to get is to be something like a rehab home, where you are completely surrounded by somebody 24/7 that can be there for you whenever you're going through your issue. Because listen, when them 8 hours of business is up, somebody's still going through those memories of their mama and their girlfriend doing them like that. And they're still trying to figure out a whole lot of other stuff. Now they might be wondering why they don't get along with people and why they ain't normal, why they not the same as everybody else, why they lacking in certain areas. And then they have to start realizing, man, my mama programmed me to accept her lifestyle. And this lifestyle wasn't cool, but here it is. I think it's normal. I think it's normal for me and my cook. You know, George Bush and his fathers and all them, they thought it was cool for their friends to dominate and sodomize their friends to establish an alpha hierarchy. That was a culture, but that's dysfunctional.
Yeah.
That's very dysfunctional behavior that they think is normal. So it's very hard to root out or counsel somebody within just an hour or two, and then it actually work, because that's the reason why I think we're still in the situation that we're in. It works to a certain extent, but in the real reality of things, counseling might need to be in a 24-hour setting, in a rehab setting that goes months and months, because there's so much detail in levels, like Neighbor was saying, into what even got you to this point to where you got a whole society of people that's doing this unacceptable things and proud to say it because they think it's acceptable. Meanwhile, we look at it like, man, how can they even fix their mind to do those things? We trying to figure out how did the girlfriend find it acceptable to, like, man, Kay knocked it out the park pretty much. How did the girlfriend even find it cool and didn't even come back and say, hey man, something ain't right with your mom?
Exactly. Let me move. Let me move on.
Real quick, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Matthew.
To follow up on Rico, a lot of times therapists also recommend support groups, getting involved, and a lot of times they actually know how to contact certain support groups or give you the direction to do so. So those that are like more severe than most, a lot of times do go to rehab homes. But some of them don't have access to that either. So, in the process of looking for a therapist, also look for support groups. You'd be surprised at the types of groups that are out there, especially on Facebook, where people are going through similar issues and stuff and working on overcoming them.
That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Well, I don't go to extremes. And the information that we was given was enough for me. And sometimes, I have a little practice that I used to tell people. There's two ways to go approach. Either you can go as a victim or you can go as a victim. However, what I do know, I just get you a nice bowl of water and wash your hands and be done with it. You don't need no whole bunch of therapy to know the difference between right and wrong. Now, if it's causing you a big problem where you can't function, yeah, you might need some help. But I bet you if you just leave it alone, you'll be fine. Because you already know it ain't right. You already feel some type of way. So if you feel that somehow, that's one thing, the difference I say a lot of times with men and women. It ought to be enough for a man to tell you he don't want you no more. But no, you want closure. No, you want to continue the foolishness is what you're doing. Wash your hands and be done with that behavior.
Wow.
If you think you need some help, go get some. But you don't always need no whole bunch of therapy and everything when it comes to right or wrong. Don't do it.
Wow.
Leave it alone. Leave your mama alone, if that be the case.
Toya?
But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are a human being. Complete. You get yourself out of some mess just like you got yourself in some mess. If you need some help, get some help, brother. But if you just leave it alone and don't carry it no further, you'll be fine, because you know it ain't right.
Good deal. And I think a piece or a part of it was because I know it had to take a lot to write this letter and then to send it. I know they had to take a lot to do something like that and let people know outside of your circle what's going on. So Toya, how much do you think that is based on him looking for assistance or help, or just trying to make it through? Because sometimes people just want to make it through. What do you say to that, Toya? Toya may have stepped away for a second there. Cassandra, talk to me.
I don't, I think, everybody's given some really good advice, clear advice. I really don't have anything to add, and I really pray that this young man will reach out and get some counseling.
Do you think this? Do you think this was a part? Do you think this was a part, Cassandra, of him reaching out? Do you think this was a part of it, and even?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Just talking about it and see, this is an environment where he could share that without any backlash, or you know what I'm saying. You know, people knowing him, the anonymity, it's really good, because sometimes it gives people that freedom to talk about things that they normally wouldn't, you know, share with people. So yeah, I think this was definitely a cry out.
Yeah, exactly. Mary, what's on your heart? Mary?
Nothing at the moment. I don't think there's any more that I can say about the situation. Either you're gonna deal with your mama or you're not. I mean, you're pretty blunt when it comes to, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's cool to ask for help, but what are you gonna do about it?
Wow.
Because you have to have some type of solution if you don't bring a problem to the table.
So somebody was just saying something. Who was that?
I said, it's me, Ryan. It's Kurt.
Okay, what's up, man?
I said that what Cassandra is talking about, I call it anonymous sharing. Right? Because he does not have to admit what's going on in the midst of a group interaction. Like people can look at him and see who he is. So that's called anonymous sharing. What Rico is talking about, Rico is right. Like, he need more than just a 1 hour session, which most of the time only lasts 45 minutes. He needs more. The problem with that is the way that the system is set up. In order to get what Rico is speaking of, a doctor would have to say that this guy needs what they call intensive inpatient treatment. Now, most of the time, in what I've seen in my wee years of doing this, is that most people who get intensive inpatient treatment there's one sentence that determines that. And the sentence is, if you are a danger to yourself and a danger to others. That's how it's gauged as far as intensive inpatient treatment. Now, that can mean any number of things. That can mean if you are an extreme alcoholic, extreme drug abuser, physical abuse, whatever, but it has to be to the extreme. Very rarely do people get EP, which is called emergency petitioned, just off the fact of this is how I feel. Now, Leonard said something that really spoke volumes to me when he talked about making the adjustment. If you recognizing that it's wrong, then you make the adjustment. It's like none of us on this panel, or even people who are sick, very few, would wake up, go turn the stove on, and go stick their hand over the oven. The people who would do that, knowing what the outcome is going to be, they're a danger to themselves and possibly a danger to others. So they would get that inpatient treatment. Finally, I say this, you know, I seen something yesterday about spiritual counseling, which is something that appears to be coming back to the fold. You know, for a while, you know, they removed the religious component into therapeutic interventional services. They removed that, but it's starting to trickle back in. And I'm reminded of, you know, Nebuchadnezzar, I believe it was Nebuchadnezzar, was straight. It was okay at first. But then all of a sudden, the foolishness of what's going on around him began to engulf him. And then his decisions became foolish by nature. And this whole conversation, it makes me think about the Matrix.
Wow.
When you think about it, the Matrix was all about changing your reality. If your reality is you get up every morning, you get on the bus, you ride a bus 5 miles, you get off the bus, you walk in the building, so forth and so on, that was your reality. But what is the alternate reality, right? The alternate reality is, no, you don't have to go get on that bus. You can take and jump from where you at to where you need to be. So in therapeutic settings, a lot of times, and Navy may be able to help me out, or may be able to give the clinical terminology for it. But in therapeutic settings, in most times, we're gauged to at least provide you with tools to go into your therapeutic toolbox that helps you with your new reality.
Yeah.
And helps you deal with the old reality for which you was in. Because the bottom line is this, Raheem: both realities exist, and they move in the same direction. The difference is one is on one street and one is on the other street. The question is, when do you want to put a roadblock up on the street of the reality that you don't need?
Wow, that's good.
That's what that's what the whole thing is. Because this whole thing, everybody involved in this is going to need some kind of therapy. Or who's going to need and or get authorization to have intensive inpatient therapy.
Wow, that's good. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And I want to put this out there, man. We received this one right here. So if anybody else have a scenario, you don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your name. But if you have a scenario that you want to have us to discuss on Wednesday, we do this on Wednesdays. All you have to do is send it in, send it to DKM Media Group 1, just the number 1 at gmail.com. DKM Media Group number 1 at gmail.com. And we'll definitely or any other way that you want to get it to me. If you want to just send it to me in a message or something like that, you can certainly do that as well. But get it over to me. Again, you don't have to use your name. You don't have to say your name. We don't have to know who you are. If you want us to know your name, you can. If you want to give us a way of getting in contact with you, you can certainly do that as well. But if you want to stay secretive with it, you can do that too. Let me go to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, Morning Glow.
Good morning. Now, did you hear the scenario?
I was listening to the comments, so I kind of understood what was going on.
Let me read it to you.
Something bad happened.
No.
Where the mother got involved with
Let me read it to you real quick. It's a 27-year-old out of Tyler, Texas. My mother dated my ex. My mother dated my ex, and it says this: I am a 27-year-old man who was dating a 22-year-old, amazingly beautiful young lady. It was great until I found out my straight divorced mother was having affairs with her too. My mother said that it wasn't nothing but sex, and that I was tripping. Am I tripping?
Wow. So, the worst part of it is, we don't know people's story. I don't know why the mother did that, because there is some background in the reason she did it. And I think somebody had said earlier that not so much that it is not our problem, but I want to say this: until it's in our backyard, then we don't want to do anything about it. Because of the fact that when something happens to an individual, they got to filter, Raheem, because it's like cancer. It eats you up. The Bible says that an idle mind is a mind for the enemy.
Yes.
The job is to kill, steal, and destroy. And what happens is, when you have something like that within you and you don't speak out on it, it constantly eats you up like cancer. So, I mean, Rico and them was right about the therapy. Cassandra was definitely right about it. In those few hours, it's going to be a start. You have to keep going. It's like when somebody gives you some penicillin or medicine and they tell you to take it until it's complete. Some people take it for a while, and when they feel better, they don't completely take it. But the root of the cause have not been completed because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So you have to make sure, and I'm glad this young man did that, because of the fact that if he doesn't, then it's going to domino on down. It's going to keep doing whatever's happening is gonna keep happening in his life because ain't nobody told him how wrong that was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we take an assumption and believe that people know right from wrong. We believe that some things they do, but some things when you are just in one area, one place, somebody's teaching and training you. That's why you got cults, and they can brainwash you to believe that that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have somebody to tell you that that's wrong.
Wow.
So I'm just saying that in order for this he did the first step, and that's to admit that there's a problem. Now he has to follow through and find out what the solution is going to be. And that's on my heart right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. And there's so many different layers. And I think our Navy said there's so many different layers on this whole situation right here, man. There's a lot of layers on this, and there's a lot of hurt there. How does one get past it? And everybody involved is hurting to some degree. You know, we want to look at him and say he's hurting. Absolutely. But the mother have to be hurting the young lady that crossed that line with the mother and betrayed her boyfriend. Or there's a lot tied into this thing. Friday, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hi,
good. Doing good. Sis, what do you hear in this whole situation? What's on your heart? Kay, with the E coming to you next.
It's tragic. But there's a trillion of ways, many ways to die, right? I think the cliche term, 1,000,001 ways to die.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it's still death. And unfortunately with trauma, there's 1,000,001 ways to experience trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've heard in this letter is an expression of trauma, but what resonated to me about it was that what flashed in front of my eyes about listening to it was death, where I started from. So death can be sudden and unexpected, and it can be slow and I don't want to say methodical, but you can plan, it's coming, you prepare for it. We all kind of live life to knowing we don't know the hour or the day of our own. And we just pray that we get to have this slow process in terms of being able to do all that we want to do and experiencing life all that we want to experience. And I say all of that to say that it's the process of grief. So no matter how death happens, it's still a process of grief that occurs, because someone that has the blessing of living 100+ years old, there's still going to be a grieving process for those that have gotten to be in relationships, that blood bond by DNA and what they meant to each other. So in this situation, death has occurred, and it was a sudden death. But when we deal with death where it's still in existence, meaning that it's not a physical death where you're buried 6 feet under, you're still faced with temptation of of whatever, or even like in divorce or in trauma, when we have to, it's very difficult and painful when that trauma is related to somebody that you have to see or deal with or connected to by DNA.
Absolutely.
But the grieving process is the same. So I guess I would just say and encourage people to consider it from the lens of the grieving process, because this young man is having to deal with now having experienced a death in the relationship with his mother, be it also layered with betrayal, but also with this relationship that he was trying to have with this young woman. And then the mother is experiencing death as well on her end because of that severed relationship. But because it's a parent and a child, there's a bond there that is very
30 seconds.
Difficult to break and can be very hard, because even in the worst situations and circumstances, there's this cry out or desire to have a relationship with parents. And it seems even with other situations where people are seeking out their biological parent and other things like that. So it's a real bond that's there. It's not so easily broken. but it makes that grieving process and healing process that much more difficult.
Good deal.
So
Sis,
I guess that's what I just want to say about that.
Good deal. Good deal. K with the E, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
I've just been listening, and I'm gonna say I gotta take it back to the Bible, because the word tells us to honor thy mother and father. And if they do something, we can't chastise them or punish them. He will get them. And so that's something that his mom will definitely have to deal with, because the Lord gonna deal with her. And as far as he goes, he needs to just make sure he get himself right and just move on, because that's all he can really do is move on. And that's it. All he can do is pray and move on. He can't punish his mama or anything. He can be upset, because my mama did me wrong, and I moved out at 15, and nothing went right for me until I apologized for acting how I acted, saying the things I said. My life turned around. Until then, it was hard.
Wow.
And I mean hard. I ran up against all kind of stuff. And I realized, the lady told me, gotta honor your mother and father. Don't care what they did and how they did it. God got them. He said he'll punish them. And so, and I didn't have to worry about it. Like, I just had to let it go. It wasn't for me to be mad or upset and mama, you wronged me, and never apologize and none of that, because at the end of the day, she gave birth to me. And so God dealt with her, and I didn't have to deal with it. And once I turned to the loose, I was better. And I encourage everybody that I know, and when I hear people say things, I'll be like, man, look, my mother ain't here no more. And the things I found out at 15, when I thought I could be mad and tell her she wasn't no mama and all this here stuff, I paid for that. So I let it go. And God will definitely take care of those. He take care of the parents. Parents mistreat their kids like all the time. I have a granddaughter living with me right now. Like, I don't know what happened last night, but I know at 13, you can't put her, she can't be on the busiest highway we have in Kansas City, because anybody could have picked her up. And I would be on here, probably wouldn't even be on here, because I would have been too busy crying trying to figure out where my granddaughter at.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I thank God for the coverage.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Rico, talk to me, brother. You got something on your heart?
Yeah, man. First, I'm gonna say thank you to Will and Donald for what they did yesterday, man. Cause I ended up having to stay down here a little bit longer. But you know, when I heard that story, man, the first thing I did was put myself in that man's shoes. We gotta understand this ain't gonna be one of them situations he could just get over, because his mama might still try to be a mama. What you gonna block me? I'm your mama. And the Bible said, oh, you ain't gonna answer my phone. I can't come over your house. I come where I want to. You my son. I gave birth to you, mama. I don't want to do with you no more. So that's why I think your counsel and your support group is supposed to be your friends. That's why you got to be careful about who you really call friends and make your friends, because they're going to be your support group. They're going to be your counsel. Because the minute he leave that therapy, or if he was to call in and we was to talk to him, the minute we get off that phone, he got to deal with some stuff that we ain't got to deal with. It's going to flash in his mind. He's going to imagine them doing each other. He might have walked in and seen that. He got to deal with this when we ain't got to deal with it. So just the minute that he thought everything was cool and he could get over it, here come his mom. Baby, I still love you, baby. You still my baby. Come here. Nah, mama gone now. I told you don't come to my job. I said I was done with you. But dang, man, I can't even be with my mama the way a man's supposed to be with his mama. Man, that's a hard thing to deal with. When you have to look at your reality and say to yourself, man, I know the way it's supposed to be between a mother and a child, or a father and a son, or whatever. I know the way it's supposed to be. Why ain't my relationship with that? Because I really, you know what, people really want that from their parents.
Yes, Lord.
People that get it don't understand what it's like to not have that normal relationship with your parents. That normal bond, that loyalty. Positive loyalty, not dysfunctional programming. That's why I'm glad Willa came on and said what she said, because what will happen is after therapy, it's still going to flash in his mind, because this wasn't no ordinary chick. This was his mother, the one that brought him into this world to do him like that and say it was just sex, baby. It ain't going to be that easy. for him to just walk away from it, forget about it, wash his hands, or just get over it, pull up your bootstrap and keep moving. You know, some people can do that. That takes a very strong mind to compartmentalize your mama and put her over here with the rest of them folks.
30 seconds.
Them nasty, low down people, them unrighteous people, them dysfunctional, deviant people. You know what? Get over that, mother. Get over that, son. Man, that's so hard. That's a different level of disrespect and betrayal. So, you know, I was glad Badger brought that up about support groups. And I think the idea of support groups with a certified counselor being on tap 24 hours. They might have to work on the second shift or third shift just to be on call. Because just like yesterday, I was in a situation for the right reasons, but it still was a little devil on my shoulder to say, you know what, you can also do this. You can also do this. And I've seen a bet. I've seen the Jezebel. Oh my God, I still ain't seen my son, but I've seen him. Lord have mercy. Y'all know what I felt like doing, and I had somebody on the phone talking to me, counseling me. It wasn't a therapist, but he did therapy. I had somebody on the phone yesterday talking to me, Toya. She wanted therapy, but she was giving me therapy. So you have to surround yourself with people that can be counselors, that also know and identify and have your best interests at heart. Because, man, this world we live in, when you got to worry about your mama, your dad, or your brother and sister being your biggest enemy, the people that you have to look out for the most, man, it ain't that easy to just get over it.
Exactly. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Sorry about that. Toya, you want to see you back with us? Toya, you back? Toya might have stepped away for a second. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Talk to you about what, Raheem?
Well, then we've been talking about this letter for about an hour now, so I think we might want to. I think we might want to continue down the lane we're talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you wanted to go somewhere new or what have you. But like I said before, those things that cause you a problem and that you are frustrated about, you should seek counseling. But there comes a time when you must make a stand, especially as a man. I consult with my God about certain things, and I go to therapy every 1 or 2 months. Been going for about 15 years. Because there may be something that I may miss. That's why I go to therapy. Not because I don't know. It's just because I want to make sure I've considered all the information. Because I'm very good at making certain decisions. And what I don't allow other people to do is to enslave me to whatever it is that they're doing and they're thinking. And so sometimes easy people say, well, it ain't that easy. I never said it was easy. That's the problem. If you're looking for easy, you probably gonna fail. It's the hard things that test you, that temper you for the next thing. So a lot of people have to just get to the point where they would rather go to the solution and set up some type of objective for yourself. Where am I trying to go? Where would I like to be? What is the desired outcome? I don't care what the situation is. If you need to consult and get other information and all that, definitely do that. But as a Christian, I know which way to go.
Wow.
It's making the decision to go that way.
Good deal. Again, 508-924-3521. We got a couple of more minutes before we get out of here. Cassandra, let me and we got somebody else just called in. I'll see what that is in just a second or two. But Cassandra, what is the first thing that this young man, what is the first act that he should do in this situation like this? Is it trying to forgive himself, try to forgive his mom, try to forgive the girlfriend, or just take yourself?
What does he have to forgive himself for? He hasn't done anything from what the message was. I just want to take it from this. Toxicity is a no-no. You need to stay away from any. I don't care if it's your mama that birthed you from her woo-woo. If she is toxic, and it sounds like this woman is toxic, you need to distance yourself so that you can deal with you and whatever is going on with her, you can deal with it at a distance. I mean, I love God with all my heart, and he knows it. And anybody who's around me knows that I love God. But I will never tell anybody that they have to be or they need to be around a toxic person. I don't care who it is. Mama, daddy, preacher, I don't care. Get away from toxic people because it causes your spirit, your mind, your body, everything can be affected by a toxic person. And for that mother to say it was just sex, that is toxic.
Wow.
That is toxic to her son's spirit. What is wrong with you? So then you separate yourself from her and you get treated for you. You go to God for you. And yes, we have God. We can always go to God. He said he'd never leave or forsake us. But guess what? He also says that we need to bear the infirmities of the weak. You that are strong, you should bear the. So when people are going through, they need to talk sometimes to human beings. We talk to God all the time. I do. Wherever I'm at, I try to get a little word in with them. But you have to learn that sometimes you have to talk to human beings and hear and see the interaction, feel the interaction between a human being and a human being when you're in trauma. That's all I got to say.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Mary, what's on your heart, Mary? Mary?
I think I understand your parents are your parents, and that's a beautiful thing. But you don't have to talk to your parents to forgive your parents. You can take it to God and be done with it. Because what happens if your parent, God forbid, your parent passes, and you still going through your time of grieving, your time of holding your grudge? Then what you gonna do? You're gonna go to God about it. So you don't have to. I appreciate the fact, I don't know who said they went to their parent and they had to forgive their parent. That's beautiful, but not everybody has to do that. You can talk to God and tell him, listen, this is where I'm at with the situation. I forgive her for it. Let her know. But I just can't do that anymore. I can't be around that anymore. Because if it was a friend, everybody would be like, leave your friend alone, leave your friend alone. But now that it's a parent, everybody cares about how the parent feels. Why? For what? Because they decided to have you. You didn't decide who you wanted your parent to be. You didn't decide that your parent was going to sleep with your girlfriend. They're wrong. So if you choose to leave them alone because they're wrong, that's fine. Take it to God and leave it alone. You don't have to deal with your parent to follow what the Bible said. You don't, nowhere in the Bible does it say that you have to deal with your parent every day, all the time, no matter what they do to you. That's not what it says. So, and you don't have to listen to your parent when your parent is telling you wrong. That's not, so if your parent a demon, you're going to follow it because that's what the Bible says on your mama. So you're going to do it. Well, if your mama tell you kiss somebody, you're going to do it. That's not, you can't use every Bible verse to justify what you do. You can just take stuff to God and leave it there. You don't have to talk. I hate when people do that. You don't have to talk to people when they do you wrong. Take it to God and leave it there because God made them. God can deal with that. You deal with you because what you forgive gets you into heaven. Because me talking to my mama is not what's going to make me get to heaven. It's my relationship with God, not with my mother. My mother got me here. God used my mother to get me here. Mary didn't even have to have sex to have her baby. So you don't have to deal with your parent to get yourself into heaven. It's what you and God got going on, not what you and your mom got going on. So no, that's not, I don't want anybody to think that's what you got to do. You don't have to talk to your parent. No, absolutely not.
Now, Mary, I wish you would try to stop talking to me.
Come on, Mary. What pass the plate?
Look, I wish you would try to stop talking to me. I wish you would. I wish you would.
But she said,
man,
look at.
The Bible says, but there's a certain reason why a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife.
But listen,
you got to move on in life.
I
Can't
wish,
just get stuck in one spot.
I wish you would. I wish you would. Let me Willa, what's on your heart?
No.
Hold on, Batch. I'll come back to you, Batch. Willa, what's on your heart?
Well, what's on my heart is, first of all, when you're done wrong, Raheem,
Mm-hmm.
don't keep giving the person that done you wrong the power over your life. Because when you don't handle the situation, it gives them power. That situation that happened to you is a constant thorn in your life for the rest of your life. Who would want to live that kind of life? Cassandra was right. The Bible says to bear the infirmities of the weak.
Mm-hmm.
So when something happens to us, we don't always, in the beginning, have that forgiving spirit on us. There's a process, but you have to forgive. Doesn't mean I got to go out to dinner with you or walk down the street with you, but I have to forgive, because when you say that prayer, Lord, forgive me for what I do as I forgive others, then you're telling God that this is the way I'm going to forgive. So, I ain't been such a right person, but Lord, I want you to still forgive me. So no matter what it is that we've been wrong, we have to get to the place in our life to forgive. That don't mean I have to be friends with you, call you and all of that. But you got to follow his instructions. And that's what we want to do. We want to do it our way. This is how we want to do it. But stop giving people the power once they wrong you. I wish it was easy, like Leonard said. We could just pour the hot water and wash our hands. It's not for everybody. Not for everybody. Because if that was the case, then I wouldn't have to bear people's breakdowns or people's when they go through. Everybody's been through something, and at some time or another, you needed someone to talk to say, what do you think? What should I do? There's always a beginning. And he did the first thing by hollering out through his letter. That was the first thing he did. He did. That was right.
Yeah.
He didn't keep it inside. Because believe it or not, Raheem, that's why a lot of people go through what they do. They're trying to handle it by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can't.
Absolutely.
So that's on my heart right here. Stop giving people the power over you. This is your life. This is your life you got to live. And whatever it takes for you to get that back, that's what you go through.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. That's good. Hey, Leonard.
Raheem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Here comes the good Bishop Gregory Adams.
Bishop, you've been listening, and you've been listening. Good morning, Bishop. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I know I just tuned in about 15 minutes ago.
I'm gonna read you.
Busy, man.
I'm gonna read you this scenario, and I want to hear your heart on what happened. This young man reached out to us, man, and I just want to hear what you're gonna say to this. 27-year-old young man out of Tyler, Texas. My mother dated my ex. I am a 27-year-old man who was dating a 22-year-old amazingly beautiful young lady. It was great until I found out my straight divorced mother was having affairs with her too. My mother said it wasn't nothing but sex and that I was tripping. Am I tripping?
No, you ain't tripping. She tripping. To think it's just that easy. Go along and start having an affair, and you say you straight. Well, your actions then demonstrate being straight. You're a straight woman where you're going to sleep with another woman. Okay. So secondarily, and I was listening to Mira as she was talking, and I listened to Sandra, and Sandra said, Romans 15:1, we that are strong are the bad infirmities of the weak. And that is true. We who are strong ought to be able to help those who don't have the strength. And you can't keep them like that bottled up inside, but don't worry about it. No, you go to mama, look at mama, what you did was wrong. What you did was wrong, mama. And first, I'm going to quote Matthew 5:25. We agree with thine adversary, the person who has caused you some harm while thou art in the way. Do it don't go to sleep and think, oh, I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna take it to God. When God already told you how to handle this matter.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna straighten this mess out right here and right now. Mama, what you did was wrong. I love you, Mama. But I don't know, if we can move forward beyond this point, because what you did was out of order.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to tell somebody, you're going to tell your homie, now you're going to spread some information because you don't know how to handle it. You may get angry enough going to go shoot them. But at the end of the day, this is the right thing to do. Straighten that mess out and don't just let it ride.
Mm-hmm.
Pray to God that he give you the strength that you may be able to communicate with her to get her straight without getting violent. That's what you ask God to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but no, she's wrong. And he has every right to confront her as it relates to this and move on. Move on from the relationship altogether.
How do you confront her, Bishop, without it getting into an ugly altercation? Because it has potential to get real ugly.
You go to God and ask God, God, give me the strength. Man, I've been in all kinds of situations. And here's the mature side of me. All right, this is how I'm going to handle this. I'm going to say something. Now, if it gets stupid, real stupid, then the best thing for me to do is walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And in a case like that, get over it. Man, please. Don't tell me, I'm the one going through this. You ain't going through this. Or you don't feel the same way I feel. Everybody has different feelings and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody reacts all together different. So, way somebody else may handle it, kudos to them. I take my hat off to them. For me, this is how I'm gonna handle this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a violent guy. I don't like to fight. I gave up fighting when I got out of the army. I was a fighting man then. When I got out of the army, I became a different kind of fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm the first one that anybody tell you. Greg will tell you about yourself. You don't have no problem. I will straighten you up and straighten you out. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, you'll appreciate me later on.
Mm-hmm.
But the next person you run them on doing some stupid stuff like that, they may take you out of here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. There was a young lady that was saying something, and Badger was, I'm gonna go to Badger, but who was the young lady? Was that Toya? Toya, was that you?
It was Friday.
Friday? Okay, what's on your heart?
Friday.
Okay.
No, I was just going to say that I guess in all of the giving that we're giving it from my perspective, depending on where we are in our walk with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this individual has established that relationship for himself, because otherwise a lot of what we're saying, although encouraging and endearing, won't really mean much, nor will he really know how to navigate that until he establishes that relationship, if he doesn't have it. But I was going to say also that, even when Jesus was on the cross, in his death, that was painful for us, for all of our sins. He asked the Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And again, even for the mother, I don't know what her belief stance is in her relationship for herself. But then, I would just say, like, in this process, the how he gets over it, or the process of it, would just be, and still do it, his mother would be agape. He has to be able to identify that it's, she's operating or have been influenced demonically, and also partly maybe her personal choices. But neither of those choices or operations thereof is that of an alignment with what Christ would want. And if he is a believer and becomes one, and in that process, I think he'll be able to address her and still deal with her even from a distance through the covering of agape, because it's not by my strength, but by his strength. And then therefore he'll be able to process that journey of grief, because it's still death, because we should die to something new, and sometimes trauma brings it on suddenly, like I was speaking on earlier. But that process of going through that cycle of death will become a little bit more manageable, and he'll still be able to find joy and move on with his life. But that's really going to be contingent on his relationship that he has with himself with Christ.
Absolutely. Badger?
I was actually going to mention what Willa mentioned, and this is what I was sitting here thinking, because living where I live, and it's really close, to where he is, and man, seeking truth and acknowledging, because there's no telling how it affected his mental, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could have took it personally, saying that he wasn't good enough and all kinds of things like that. And the other thing I was sitting here thinking is, I really hope his mother isn't one of them people around here that call themselves a Christian.
Mm.
Because around here, that's a really common thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
So, which is going to, give the wrong impression and all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping if he's listening, that this is how the people on this show are the good Christians. They're the open-hearted, kind, respectful. I have the privilege to be on here with them every day, Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't walk a Christian path, but I do walk a spiritual one.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's going to talk from their perspective and what has gotten them through their life and through their experiences. And I hope the biggest thing you take from some of the things that we're saying is not everyone handles the situation in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn how you need help and how you need to get through this situation so you can be the best human being you can be.
Absolutely.
It is not your fault at all. That is their individual choices, and they were not being responsible to others. I live by a code of being responsible for yourself and to others.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And in that process, or in that thought, in that way of living, essentially is everything you do can affect another human being. And the thing that doesn't get taught very often is how to recognize when it isn't our fault.
Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
So now it comes a time that you take everything. I was in this predicament. I kind of take all this information from different perspectives and find me a person that I really can trust, that got some wisdom and have experienced something on a professional or spiritual level. Not just anybody, not a friend, not a person that you just shoot the breeze with, but almost, it got to be in some kind of a professional level. Y'all get together and spend some time. And then another thing about it is, you got to forgive somebody. That's the hardest thing to do.
Yes,
but
sir.
That's not for them, that's for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if somebody crossed me yesterday, I can't walk in today with that, because that leaves me prisoner in that situation. Can't handle that. That just pours salt on the wound. So that's all I got to say, man. We 9:01.
Yeah. Well, 10:01 here. We're going to get on out of here. But let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Hadn't spoke to you in a minute. What's on your heart about this whole scenario, man, before we get out of here?
Not much. Everybody done said everything that needs to be said, man. The only thing I could add is, the young brother, as much as I feel for him, that's something that going down there a lot, man, in that area, in that Midwestern, Southwestern area. But, I endured it when I was in the military. You heard stories like that all the time. But only thing I can say is, the young brother, it's time for him, at some point to grasp what he wants his reality to be. And maybe that can soften the fall of when he actually has to step up and exist in that reality, right?
Wow, that's good. Anybody have anything they want to say before we get out of here? Anybody got anything else they want to say quickly? Quick version.
The first good step he made was communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, if he's a good communicator, knows how to express himself, he has people that he can call on or talk to, like Don said, because somebody that can identify and actually take the time to listen to what he's going through because they understand, give them some good information. You know, don't just be sitting there listening and going, but actually giving them some good positive information to move forward, positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just go from there, man. I mean, because it's, like I said, there's going to be some times, depending on the person, there's going to be some times when it's going to hit them and they're going to think about it and they're going to need somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, you know, he has found some people like that he can talk to that's very understanding. Whether they've been through it or not, they still know that, you know, he's dealing with having to break an unconditional loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, and I that's why I do like what, you know, your daughter and what Leonard said about moving on. You know, I don't believe in these unconditional loyalties, but that's one of the things that goes along with having parents that violate you like that or children that violate you like that.
Mm-hmm.
That unconditional love isn't the same as unconditional loyalty. I can love you unconditionally, but I'm not going to be loyal to all your buffoonery and your debauchery, your deviant behavior at all.
Exactly.
I'll cut you loose and still love you from a distance.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Anybody else have anything? And that's true. Anybody else have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
And also, you know, I hope the young man understands it's a blessing that this truth was revealed to you before you made that amazingly beautiful woman your wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take that positive thing away from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God that he revealed that to you before you married this amazingly beautiful woman.
Wow.
And also, before I go, Raheem, I want people to be conscious of Jude. There's a book in the Bible called Jude. Look at the 17th chapter through the 22nd verse.
17 to 22nd.
Specifically, I like the 22nd verse.
Okay.
Be merciful to those who doubt. Save others by snatching them from the fire. To others show mercy, mixed with fear, hating even the clothing stained by corrupted flesh.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Good deal. Anybody else have anything before we get out of here? Good deal.
Yeah,
Good.
I really appreciate it. And I'm thinking about it. I think everybody has said some wonderful things as it relates. And one of the key things, and even though you can fight the individual, you also have to forgive them and move on.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Anybody else?
Amen. That's that unconditional love that Rico was talking about, that God loves us. He loves us, but he hates our sin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else before we get out of here? Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Anybody? Cassandra?
No, I don't. Thank you. No, I don't. Everyone said some great stuff. And like I said, the key is forgiveness. And you don't have to stay in toxic relationships in order to forgive someone. So please remember that.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you something. I wish I knew the young man's name. I wish I could reach out to him. But if you were listening today, I hope something was said somewhere along the course by somebody that help you and gonna help you make it through this situation, because it's not easy, man. It's not an easy situation. It's ugly. It really is. It's an ugly situation. But like it was said before, he said in his word, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So he's walking with you, even through this right here. He's walking with you. Don't know about your mama. Don't know about that lady. That what is it? Amazingly beautiful young lady. Beauty is more than just on the outside, brother. Beauty is more than on the surface. She could be terrible on it, and she could be terrible on the inside. Terrible. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. And keep in mind, everybody, if you want us to discuss something that's going on, or a situation that's going on with you, give us a call. I mean, not give us a call. Write it right in. Send it to our DKM. Send it to DKM Media Group 1 at gmail.com. DKM Media Group and the number 1 at gmail.com. And I will certainly give you the same attention that we gave this gentleman here. Whatever the situation is, we'll definitely talk about it. But right now, Rico, you there?
Yo.
What?
Yeah, I'm right there. You know, you see, I had to call right back in.
I saw that.
What time it is.
I saw that. What's her name? Rico, what's her name?
Man, it's that sister Willa.
Oh, Willa's her name. Willa.
Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
Are
Let's go, Raheem.
Are you ready?
Raheem?
Yes.
I am so ready.
Well,
I'm ready, Raheem, to receive the word of God.
Well, you know what, Willa? You know what? Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go, Raheem. Father God in heaven, our King of Kings, our Lord of Lords. Father, we thank you, Lord, for keeping us on one accord, Lord. Father, we thank you, Lord, for using us, oh Lord. Using us to deliver your words and your message, Lord. Father, we thank you for waking us up. Father, you didn't have to do it, but you did it, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, for it. Father, we thank you for what you do in our lives, giving us the direction, the wisdom, the guidance, and the understanding that we need to continually go on in this world. We thank you, Lord. Father, we know you are awesome God. Father, we know you are a gracious God. We know that you are a merciful God. And we thank you, Lord, for your knowledge, your understanding, and your application in our lives. Lord, I'm asking that you touch that young man who's going through, oh Lord. Father, I may not know his name, but Father, you know his name. Father, I'm asking you to give him some direction. You said that the prayers of the righteous avail much. Father, we're praying for that young man, Lord, that you give him some guidance, Lord. We thank you, oh Lord, for this show. We thank you for DKM Radio 1.1 and Raheem and his family and the Morning Glow. We thank you, Lord. Touch each and every last one. Father, we're asking you to keep the Holy Spirit around them, giving them direction, guidance, and understanding. Thank you so much, Lord, for what you do in our lives. We give you the honor, we give you the glory and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Amen. It's been a great broadcast, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this out of you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Take care of each other. And I'll see you tomorrow. Lord say the same.